This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh, do I have a face for anything other than radio? I don't know about that. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's just a couple minutes after 7 o'clock. It's Studio C. It's the show. It's Tuesday night. Al, what are you talking about? Pop-Tart flavors.
Ew. Oh, they cilantro Pop-Tarts. No, they announced 2 new flavors of Pop-Tarts.
How have I not caught this in the news today?
It was on today.
I missed
you have to be up for like 3 days with allergies, but A&W root beer flavored.
Okay.
And with cream on them. And
why did you look at Marty when you said that? I don't know why.
I'm a little concerned.
I just needed to alert the beaver. And then
the creamy beaver.
The creamy beaver. And then Orange Crush.
Orange Crush. I enjoy an Orange Crush.
I know, but in a Pop-Tart? I'm not sure.
You don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Well, I think I could be convinced into the Orange Crush.
There have been some really crappy flavors. They've come out with a few that we've sampled.
It's turning into like the Oreo cookies where they
need to calm
get
down.
On their own fucking way.
They need to calm the fuck down about that. Can we just leave Oreos alone? I like the regular Oreos and golden.
Just send Helen back to scrapbooking in the factory. She doesn't need to be dreaming up new fucking flavors.
Exactly right.
Ding dongs and Cinnabon, and they have all.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna say that anything Cinnabon related, I'm probably gonna be down with.
Yeah. Be okay.
Yeah.
But
we have a client. The only client we have that is a food truck, and it's Friends of Matt's, and it's called Hot Mess Buns, and they have
That's awesome.
I like it.
And the whole thing is it's a cinnamon roll.
I'm gonna ring my bell for that
Reindeer
one.
bell.
Yeah.
It's a cinnamon roll recipe they've got, and I went out the other day to see them at there was a food fair over in Tempe at Tempe Diablo Stadium. I had to go check in with them, and I'd never had one, and she's like, well, do you like caramel? Yeah. Do you like cinnamon? Yeah. Like, load it up. I don't care. Load it. And I brought it home.
There's
and I was
nothing that's going to happen on a Cinnabon that I'm not going to be down with.
Unless you put the cilantro on there, like Aaron has.
I don't think cilantro.
I'm pretty sure Cinnabon is the one place that's not going to buy cilantro.
Because goddamn, if they don't put that on everything.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. Now I do.
It has, and I like it, but
it.
I have to agree. Like, settle the fuck down.
Settle down.
I'm okay with cilantro in a Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Maybe on a salad. Maybe. But I don't need it in a pastry.
Well, and you also don't need a pound and a half of it.
Unless it's a savory pastry, because I'm sure there's a basil something or other.
A pound and a half of cilantro has got to be a massive amount.
Well, just being
because it's light as a feather.
It's light like his couches.
Yeah, it's light as a feather.
Oh, I remember. But they're so they put a ton of it on everything. Little goes a long way.
Yeah,
little goes a long, long way. And
you can say that for a lot of things in life.
Yeah, like me.
Like me.
Little of me goes a long fucking way.
By the way, I'd like to. Hi, Mama Di. She's in the chat room as well.
Hi,
Aaron from LA. Joe D's there. Tomo, all the way from. Oh, Tomo, you don't show up enough anymore. What's on?
He's here because they announced new Pop-Tarts.
Oh, maybe that's it. It's a valid point. It's a valid point. How are things going over there, Tomo, my dear friend?
I love
That's
it.
a big stretch, my dear friend. I've never met Tomo.
By
the way, I want to alert the affiliates down the line that last week and maybe the week or two before, I just was drinking coffee during the show. Yeah. I just didn't. I didn't feel it. I'd had a big weekend or whatever. I didn't really feel it. But tonight, I started early.
Oh,
yeah. I started about an hour ago because I realized I parked the truck. I locked the bike up, and I'm like, we're settling in. Yeah.
So for a long winter's nap.
So I'm halfway through the first cocktail of the night. So I'm just alerting everybody. I don't know how it's gonna go.
I went out for a margarita earlier. I decided I needed to get my toes done and have a little luncheon.
Oh, good for you.
I haven't drank since last week.
Oh, my goodness.
Fucking luscious.
Well, I didn't drink. I barely got
That's
through.
really not surprising to me with you, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you drink, but maybe once a week, if on Tuesdays, if that.
When I come in
maybe there. Maybe a dinner with your date, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I barely drank last week because I could barely stay awake. By the time the show, I was the one that put the kibosh on the show last week.
Can we just end this?
Hi, Meow Cow.
Let me pee and end
Can we just end this? I'm going to ask you a question. If you answer it, I don't care. I'm going home. I understand.
Oh, Tom, our Meow Cal has joined us, and Tom has been working a lot. I totally get that.
Oh, good. Very good. Very good.
Good stuff.
That's another thing I put the kibosh on was the overtime.
Was it?
Oh my God, did we limp nearly dead through that week?
Yeah, I can believe it.
And
Well, but he also figured out that he did his math incorrect at one point and realized that
there was a chance to make money and do nothing, or make slightly more money and work myself into a coffin.
Yeah.
And I aimed towards the coffin with that, but I was foggy headed. Math is hard.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you,
Math
about
is a
2 o'clock
challenge.
in the morning, Sunday morning, I was there was 2 of us that were both like we had to stay till 7 to get our bonus.
Yeah.
And we were both like mean, nasty, dying bitches.
Crawling
just
together.
alive on allergy medication. I just things coming out of everywhere.
Well, that has to be good in a restaurant.
in a restaurant environment, yes.
And it was one of those things where when you like anytime that you do any kind of a bonus for people that don't call in sick, where you're like, oh, if you don't call in sick for this year, you end up with people coming to work that should stay home.
Right, absolutely.
And I was a living example of that. Not because I was anything contagious, it's just allergies out here are just
And that really is about the last thing
ferocious.
you want in a restaurant.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
You don't want anybody coming in sick.
Right. You absolutely don't.
You're doing more harm than
And you
good.
don't even have to put the quotation marks over restaurant, because especially in
a
a
restaurant either.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a valid point. Whether it's a restaurant or a restaurant,
Right.
doesn't matter.
Yes.
Either way,
Yes.
if you're sick, stay home. It just really, really, really
That's
is
true.
Some things just aren't worth it. So, but I'll tell you that tomorrow at midnight when I get paid. So
We're going to dinner tomorrow night on Al.
Right.
let's see if I'm still singing that song
I
tomorrow.
can believe it. Oh, that's a nightmare, though. That's a nightmare.
My heaven's sakes! It's been a lot has happened in the world since we last talked to you last Tuesday. Yeah. And for those of you that have been listening over the week on the repeat shows, thank you for doing so. I log into an app that we have that shows us people that are listening, and randomly I will check at 3 p.m. on a Thursday or midnight on a Saturday night, and I see several people listening. So if you are one of those listeners who are unable to listen to us live, or you're just that self-inflicting of doubt and despair that you listen to repeat shows, thank you all for doing so, because I mean, it makes us no money. It's just we like to see that somebody's listening.
Yeah, that's nice. And we hope your ears don't hurt too badly.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, a little bit is a little bit. It's fine.
That's what we're here for, quite frankly.
Well, again, if you're noticing that the seat number 4 is vacant, I apparently was here in the meeting and didn't get the message. I didn't realize Kat was going to be out for 2 weeks. I thought it was just the one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
just the 2.
See, you both paid attention. Look
Yeah.
at you. Look at.
Well, it was in writing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just read it.
Oh, that she sent us a
Yeah, it
message,
was,
didn't she?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
It was a
There's
week
that.
of a lot of messages. She was just trying to get a lot of. Well, we're still mid book fair
Book
is the
fair.
other
Book fair
problem.
season, right?
Yeah. So it was personal stuff, and then the book fair was going to kick in. So she had to Sophie's Choice it,
Yep.
and she
for her.
works for the book fair people now, right? Am I
I
correct?
believe so,
Isn't it?
yeah. Yeah.
Well, if she's
Scholastic?
listening.
Am I
big
making
deal.
that up? Is that a word?
No, scholastic is a word.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a person, place, or thing. Conjunction, junction. Watch out.
And those are very talented people too.
I enjoyed those people.
very much.
Yes, the Schoolhouse Rock people were talented and funny.
If I'm not mistaken, they went on to do the Broadway musical Ragtime. Like,
Oh, I did not realize that.
yeah. She, I cannot think of her name off the top of my head, but just phenomenal writer with a
No kidding.
storied
Oh,
Broadway
that's
career. Yeah,
fantastic,
that all goes
Jenny.
back to
You
like
poor thing.
them.
Wow, I didn't. Oh, that's very cool.
Poor thing, Jenny listens to the past shows. Just start.
Oh, listen to
after-
shows you
just
missed.
Start after
Sometimes
year
I listen to
two.
the shows I missed too, and I was here.
Just listen after 2.
It's really funny how much coffee will make you miss a lot of stuff, but you get it done very fast.
Oh, and I have to. Yeah, the coffee shows are always fun to go back and listen to because even I don't know what I'm saying. I listen back and I'm like, Christ Almighty,
Can I talk faster? I didn't realize it was possible.
is there anybody available to like close caption that shit?
Nobody will.
No.
I've actually asked for people to close caption our show, and they're like, "Nope,
No, that can't be done.
too much
How
crosstalk."
in God's sake?
can you imagine?
No.
No.
That's
As much as they fuck
asinine.
up the news, which is already scripted, the people who have to do all of the closed captioning could never do this show.
No.
Could
They
never.
have enough difficulty when people are speaking.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Right,
Bueller.
But
And it's all spelled wrong.
right.
But I'm jonesing for a new podcast, not to be on, but to listen to because
Sorry.
I have
That's right.
gone through my my third podcast now, and now I need suggestions because
Oh, you're looking for more input.
I'm fresh out, and I have to say that I've gotten over the past 5 months. I've gotten used to going to bed with the iPad on a podcast, and it takes me years and years to listen to them because I fall asleep almost instantly. But it's so comforting to have.
Is it like you're there? Somebody's there talking to you,
Well, it is like a conversation, and
I've never really thought of that. If I put on NPR, I'll be asleep in 2 fucking seconds. Aaron leaves it on in the car. An accident waiting to happen. Like, what the
narcolepsy.
hell?
Narcolepsy happens.
Awful.
I'll do that if I can't sleep in like at night or whatever. I will turn on CNN, but put like really low volume because if in the middle of the night they're just rehashing everything, if not a repeat of exactly.
Even if it says breaking news.
Right. Breaking news has been happening for hours on end. But I will just literally nod off because it's noise in the background and I don't have to pay it. But for some reason it offsets my mind and I'm like, I don't have to think about whatever the hell I was thinking about that kept me awake.
No, absolutely agree. Absolutely.
Joe's asking what kind of a podcast you'd like to try, Al.
I like
cooking?
crime ones, things about
crime,
mystery.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my eye out.
And I know I've told you before, but that season 2 of Serial just
Serial
knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to just go back and listen again because I slept through most of it the first time.
Oh, I think you owe it to yourself to learn all that you can.
That's funny.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
God damn.
I don't know where that came from.
Now
I'm not sure.
I don't either.
It's lovely.
Sometimes you just break into a song. Marnie Ryer, can I talk to you for just a minute?
You sure can.
You are for those viewers. I think they can see you. It's not Barney.
Oh, hey!
All purple.
That's always been my nemesis.
No.
That fucking Barney. I'm fat.
No.
And purple is purple's my favorite color.
It was just purple. No, can we talk about the purple thing for just a second?
Sure.
Purple's your favorite color.
It always has been.
Always has.
Yeah.
And you're a Vikings fan.
Absolutely.
Conveniently,
yeah.
They're no, but truly.
But has that always been? Were you a child before you knew of the Vikings?
No,
no.
not
Actually,
really.
where you grew up, you always knew the Vikings.
Yeah.
You were eating out like a Viking spoon
Yeah.
out of your baby jar.
I have a cute little picture of me when I was like 3 in this cute little Viking sweatshirt.
Shut up.
I don't have a tooth.
Yeah.
It's super cute.
I'd like to see that picture because we
Okay.
will post that. We'll put the picture in the show.
Okay, fine.
But tonight, I understand that you actually. Can you put your shoe? Can we see a shoe? Oh, you got a stripe. You got a stripe
purple
shirt.
stripe, I
We
got
see.
the-
Hey, no, back up a little bit. Back up. You can't. The purple shoe.
Yeah,
You
purple
are
chucks.
you are in purple, not for the Vikings this
Not for
week.
the Vikings
I would
this
assume
week.
this is a tribute outfit
Yep, to Mr. Prince.
to Mr. Prince Rogers
Yeah,
Nelson.
Absolutely, from Minnesota.
Yeah, and I want to ask you a few questions about that, but we
Yeah.
can get to that later in the show. But I was just segueing. I just noticed the purple,
Yes.
but into.
I had to represent.
And is that also a ring that has a purple stone
This
in
is
it?
I wear this every week.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, this is my dad's. I wear this every
Oh,
week.
this is Buzz's. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
wear
what
that
was
every
this?
week.
What was the significance of that ring to Buzz? Do you know?
Oh, he had this ring for I was 17 when he died, and he had it before, I believe, I was born, right before I was born.
Okay.
So was it a class ring? Or
No. Just a
ring.
He used to work growing up for Van Drake Jewelers in West St. Paul, and so he would design different things and see different things and help with different things, and this was one of them.
I had no idea he was a designer.
Design some different things. He worked with Mr. Van Drake to do some different stuff.
Oh, that's very
and
cool.
This was kind of one of them. Yeah.
I did not know that about that ring. Well, that is very cool.
I love this
I
ring,
love
yeah.
having. I wish that I had my grandfather's fingers were when he was younger were smaller than mine are now.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have some of his rings and be able to. My cousin has those.
Okay.
But still, it's cool that he has those. That,
Yeah.
And it sounds what's the word I want? Kind of kitschy to say, but the fact that you're wearing a ring that his blood has flown
Absolutely,
through,
yeah.
that's just a very, very cool thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love this, and I have some of his other rings at home that were just like big. You know, like he was a big guy and had big hands.
Like
and
Elvis.
kind of, but and a lot of gold.
For the era, the 70s were very gold.
And so I would like to take like the stones that are in there, take those out and be able to do something with them. go to a designer and kind of have something done.
That's cool.
So yeah, but I love this. But it actually happens. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't
So I
real-
have the purple ring as well.
And I didn't even realize that you wear that every week.
Yeah.
But
I
yes,
love
but your
this.
purple this week is in tribute to the one and only Prince, who, we're a little bit late to the game because we only do a show once a fucking week.
Well, and living in Minnesota, like Aaron is saying, having Prince overload. I mean, he lived right around the corner.
Right.
Paisley Park is basically right around the corner from Seidel.
Is it really?
And Lisa has a house that is all white. Like it looks like it needs to be in Malibu.
Yeah, you've told me that.
Right?
You actually showed me pictures.
Yeah. It looks like it belongs in Malibu, not in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And he was in Chanhassen, and Paisley Park is all this white. So I said, "Do you have anybody showing up outside your house, just leaving
accidentally,
flowers?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like banging on your door and like Prince." But it really was. So he was just a part of it. I mean, you could show. I never had. I left at 23, so by the time I was able to go into clubs or
So you were in the
go and do
early
things-
90s.
and he was that I'm aware of was never in any places that we used to go, but we've
So-
gone down to First Avenue. He just was a part of it. He
Yeah.
was just there.
Okay.
And it always amazed me that he never left, and just how attached they. And one of my favorite things is we were talking the other day about how many things come from that area or from the Prince camp, and one of them is Janet Jackson.
Yes.
Because Jimmy Jam
Jimmy
and Terry
and
Lewis
Terry
were
Lewis,
part of
right.
the time.
And Terry Lewis grew up, or
They both went to school there, but one
They
was actually
did,
born
right.
there. One
Yeah,
moved there from
yeah.
Oklahoma or something.
Omaha, if I
yeah, I think
understand.
it was
Yeah.
Terry
Because
Lewis
we
that grew up
Wikipedia
with
the
him.
shit out of this the other night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was telling him all the things like I know Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are part of the time
Yeah.
somehow, and they were when I saw them in concert.
And how he put like Morris Day and the Time together, and
Yeah,
it
but-
just
But the middle of Janet Jackson's song, which is like Minneapolis, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
just had all the constant shout outs to Minneapolis and what great supporters
Oh,
they were,
yeah.
and just
Yeah,
the,
and
the
he
whole
would-
town has a hard on for purple. I mean, I
Well,
don't.
the other thing that I think was so cool with regards to him was, and again, Al and this whole half of the show is going to be talking about this,
Yeah.
I'm sure, but because he was a hometown boy and was so cool, and everybody knew where he lived, and everybody respected him. It just wasn't that big of a. He just was a normal guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knew where he lived.
He rode his bike. They showed that picture of him riding his bike.
which pissed him off. Because he was like, just don't take fucking pictures
Yeah,
of
that,
me.
Right.
and I always found that interesting that he was always like, just don't take pictures.
Yeah, he
just
would
take those to yourself.
The learning about him having the parties at Paisley Park was really cool. Like that
Yeah.
he would let people come in, and it was just no swearing, no booze, no pictures. You couldn't
Yeah.
bring your cell phones in,
Right.
and
Just a fun party.
yeah.
But if you watch the Saturday Night Live,
I did.
where they talked about the after party for the
Yeah.
40th show, and just the fact that he can take 6 random people drunk off
Yeah.
their ass at 4:00 in the
Who
morning,
he's never worked with
Yeah.
before.
and with just 30
and he
seconds
just
of
picked up that guitar and was like,
and turned the song that they were playing into
Yes.
Let's Go
Let's
Crazy.
Go Crazy.
They didn't change
Yeah.
it. They were already
Right.
laying down that rhythm line
Right.
without him. And he just has a little conversation. That to me, I'm like, his genius
He's
just knew
just-
no bounds.
no,
No, it did not. That
And,
was insane.
For me, that was always an interesting thing in the 80s when it was Prince, Madonna, Michael Jackson, and you would watch but especially Prince and Michael Jackson, where you'd watch the music awards, and I'd be sitting there like, because I really was very much into it. I loved
Yeah.
watching the awards, and when Prince wouldn't win, I would get so mad.
because
I
you're a
but I
hometown
loved
boy.
Michael Jackson,
Right, but he was a hometown boy.
It was almost like this overshadowed,
Right.
Yeah.
where as far as the musical genius that comes out of it is Prince.
And something that I figured out a long time ago, because I do enjoy the astrology, please don't judge me, the fact that they're all 1958
Yeah,
summer of
Oh,
all
Yeah.
from the Midwest. You got Michigan, Indiana,
That's
and
right.
Minnesota.
And
like
Minnesota, that's right.
just all from the
That's-
I
Midwest,
didn't even
all
think
born the
about
same
that.
summer. Like there's
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
words of one of his songs, there's just something in the water you drink.
sure.
as long as you're not in Flint.
Yeah. Well, that's where she's from, right outside of Flint, I think.
Detroit. I think she's
Yeah.
from
Well, now.
Detroit, right?
Back then,
Right,
no.
right. Yeah, the
Right.
water was
Water was
thinner.
much better back then.
Oh,
Yeah, the song. As far as the songs, I didn't realize that, Aaron. I don't remember you having said you lived in Plymouth. I'm
Plymouth.
sorry, I don't remember that. But yeah, friends that live in Plymouth, and Lake Minnetonka is just gorgeous. It's just one of the most beautiful places.
Do you know, by chance, do you happen to know this? Because I figured you're
Tom
from
Johnson? No, I don't have
No.
any idea who that is.
I-
But I just made that up because it's such a Minnesota thing. Like, no,
I don't even know who Tom Johnson
I'm
is.
joking.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
No. So there's a scene in Purple Rain where he tells Apollonia, part of the initiation.
Get an acting lesson.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, I'm sure.
That's really
No,
badass.
he says to Apollonia in the movie, she has to
Purify
herself in Lake Minnetonka. And what she jumps into, he says, is not Lake Minnetonka. Do you know where that was?
No, I honestly don't.
'Cause they shot that locally.
But it's a
I'd have to look
land of
back on it.
1,000 lakes. So.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I-
10,000.
right.
10,000.
Like-
several.
Yeah.
A bunch.
A ton of them. It was
So-
a pool in his backyard.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I've read it. It looked.
Yeah.
It could have been a pond next to a railroad track, for all I know.
Sure.
But I just didn't know if there was like everybody knew like that's where that was filmed.
And if I knew that then, I don't now.
You don't know.
So yeah, I'd have to look that up. But no, I don't. That's interesting. I forgot that part.
But
Yeah.
it also could have been because
You
he
guys
also
just watched
But
it,
he
though.
also could have been joking with her,
Sure.
and it was that. Lake.
It was actually Lake Minnetonka,
yeah,
right?
Like that was just a shitty joke to play. But
Yeah.
so a lot of the movie theaters at the last minute decided to play Purple Rain.
Yep.
We saw it for $5, which I thought must have been a
That's
throwback to the
awesome.
price of the thing.
We went
Fantastic.
Sunday. Al and I went
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday night
That's
when
so
I finally
cool.
woke up and
I felt bad for you, even though I was so thrilled. I would
Hi,
not want to see that
Drew.
movie with anybody else but you. But I felt bad because I thought you were about to die.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was not. He didn't. He was like B. Arthur.
Yeah.
He was. He couldn't talk.
Sure.
I just felt bad for him.
And I really didn't perk up till
No, he did not.
till I would die for you.
Yeah. And then how can you not?
And then
Baby,
and then
mama,
they had the,
stop.
yeah, oh my god, so good.
Whoa.
But the movie was terrible. Absolutely awful,
It's
awful.
It
It
is
really
not
is.
a good movie.
Misogynistic to a
I
level
know.
you're really not
Yeah.
prepared for. They actually
How's
throw
the
a girl-
family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Favorite line. I love that
But
line.
Morris Day comes out really good in it.
He really does.
Because he's
Jerome
just funny.
Benton is
He is
so
funny.
good.
Very good.
And but the writers, directors, everyone else, but the performances. If that was just a concert movie, that would be like A plus 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 plus,
Right.
brought down to a D plus by story, acting,
But,
plot, everything.
but it is funny when you watch it now and you look back, you're like, Jesus
When he was
Christ, he
walking
was
down that
so
thing.
he was so young, and
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
like,
just
do you,
wearing sensible heels in the forest.
do you just drive around Minneapolis in a pink trench coat and a Honda motorcycle? Is that what you do?
Heels.
And nobody says a word.
Some people might, yeah. Some people might do that. Don't judge. I don't know.
But it
you know,
was
yeah.
from the beginning of the movie. In fact, there's a scene in the movie on Sunday. Al and I were sitting there watching
Oh, I
it.
didn't realize they shot some of it in L.A.
They did.
Huh.
Oh, I had no idea.
Not much, but they did.
But when we were sitting there is like the opening of the whole thing happens, and Apollonia shows up at the club, and she sees Prince, yada yada yada, and then like it cuts to the next day where Morris Day and the owner of the club are walking down the street, or was it Jerome Benton, whichever one, and he's like, well, blah blah blah, and the girl was there last night, and he's like, did we miss a scene?
Yeah. You never met her.
You never met her the night before. You never actually met Apollonia in the club.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like we figured that they just did an edit. They're like, well, this is a throwaway scene. We can get rid of it.
Right.
But nobody realized that the dialogue didn't really
Doesn't
Got it.
match.
the continue.
Got it.
Yeah.
But they shot parts of it with Vanity and then cut her out. So that's why like some of it was done as
right.
pickups in LA.
Right. Okay. Right.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the movie was started with Vanity, and then I think Vanity's manager must have read it and been like, "Oh
Fuck
no,
Not
this.
gonna happen.
this is a terrible role."
Well, I thought it was pretty cool. They had, because, but as everybody was able to see, maybe, depending on what you were paying attention to, but the world kind of lit up purple in so many different
Yeah.
places, which was, I thought, really neat.
Yeah,
I
just
personally
beautiful.
thought it was fantastic. And in Minnesota, like the Twins,
each
the
batter,
Minnesota Twins, each batter had a purple band
Oh.
on.
and each when their batter up song was a Prince song. They each
Oh.
picked their
That
That
favorite.
they chose, and they showed Purple Rain at Target Field outside.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that.
The Wild, which is the hockey team, was playing, and they had Minnesota. So they had Minnesota, the state. You know how they do things in the seats so that
Yeah.
you can. It looks like the seats when they're up look like Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Right,
I didn't
right,
realize
right,
that.
And then on the other side, they had the sign.
Okay.
It was just really cool, and again, all purple before they
I've
came
read
out.
so
And every
many-
time there's a goal, let's go crazy, that kind of thing. So it was
And then
pretty cool.
across the country, so many bridges, Capitol houses, the one in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah,
the
the Capitol.
is it the Capitol or was it just the City Hall? Which
It
Yeah,
might
City
have been
Hall.
City Hall.
The-
Yeah.
wherever.
And then coincidentally,
So-
I love that Niagara Falls accidentally came through because they were celebrating what was
It said that the
Queen
Queen's 90th.
Elizabeth's 90th birthday, but the royal color is purple.
Purple.
Right.
So they
And
happened to
Prince-
light
Right.
up the falls
Right.
purple for her
That's
birthday.
right.
But then I guess they were kind of like, yeah, for Prince too. Like,
Right.
we'll take it. Like,
that
if, if
works.
everybody
Sure.
else in the country's doing
Yeah,
something purple,
Yeah.
ours
Well,
is meant for Canada. Well, we can
Why
pretend
not?
it's.
Why not?
How did and I realize we're mashing all over this segment, but who fucking cares?
I'm
It's
doing
our
this
show.
big.
That's right.
What is it? Yeah, what are you doing? On the day when you found out. Now, let's flash back just a
Yeah.
little bit. Now, I realize that the day that Donna Summer died, you were unconscious most of the day because normally you sleep during the day because of your restaurant work at night.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were awakened to a billion text messages.
Oh,
Are
and
you
phone
okay?
calls.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And I understand I understand based on Donna Summer how you reacted that day, and I get that. Now, Prince, none of us have been hanging on the line for that forever and
Right,
ever and ever.
right.
However, based on all of our ages, and those of you in the chat room, feel free to comment on that, and I will blow you out of the fucking chat room. Based on our ages, we grew up. I mean, you and I are the same age. Al's a couple years older, but still, Al knows. What I love it is he knows more about what's going on with all this than we do because
Absolutely.
you were of an age where you paid more attention. How did it
And precocious.
How did it affect you the day on Thursday when you found out? How did it affect you?
I was
Marnie Ryer?
actually leaving to go to a meeting that I
you
had
had
to
to
go
leave.
hire. Yeah, I had to go and hire some a couple of guys.
Do you like purple? You're hired.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. And if you don't, you're not.
Name a song Prince did. You're hired. I would have just left.
It was, it really was weird. I remember when Michael Jackson died, and I was in a class. I was in a training class.
Okay.
And I read about it. It came up on CNN, and I remember reading about it
Okay.
and being like, that doesn't sound right. You got to be kidding, whatever. But I wasn't beside myself. I turned the TV on. Okay, guys. So I turn the TV on for the dogs when I leave the house, and I turn the TV on
Because they love.
Yeah.
I just like to have the noise. I just like to have the noise there, so that
They are
people-
so into Wendy Williams. Those dogs
No,
are.
they like CNN. They like Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Sure.
see.
Sure, I got it.
Anyway, and all of a sudden, when I turned it on, I had not heard anything at that point, and it was a little bit earlier, and I turned it on. I just sat down. Prince has died, and I'm like, at 57, what? And I truly just sat down, my jaw hanging open, like, well, what? Wait a minute. And nothing went to, oh, we didn't have him on the death den, or nothing. Like, it was just part of and a lot of people have said this, but it's part of my childhood.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wait a
Oh.
minute, no, now wait a minute.
That's exactly where I'm going with
Yeah,
this.
because the first concert we had talked about that I'd ever gone to was Rick Springfield. Love him.
Shocking.
But the first concert that I was able to, you remember when you had to sleep out to get tickets?
Oh,
Remember, like,
he has
yeah.
a story
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first concert that I ever slept out, and it was for Purple Rain, the Purple Rain tour.
The tour, not the movie. The tour.
The
tour, yeah.
Yep. And
All right.
and slept out for those concert tickets. And
That's what we did too. And I was just at home. I fell asleep watching the news because I didn't feel like I had washed my sheets, but I didn't feel like making the bed. So I was like, I'll just lay asleep on the
Sure.
couch. And the TV was on, and all of a sudden, Purple Rain was blaring at me through my
Sure,
TV,
you're like, "What?"
and it was up a little louder than
Yeah.
it had been all of a sudden, and I was like, "What the hell is going on with Wolf Blitzer that we're listening
We're
to?"
listening to that.
and it was
Yeah.
and I was laying there, and I'm like, "It's the entire song."
Yeah.
This, I thought maybe it was a commercial for something, and then I opened my eyes and it just said Prince dead at 57. I'm like, "Well, that's not fucking possible."
Right.
And then they all started talking about it, and it was for a clean living, member of the church,
Yeah.
all around nice guy, very private,
Yeah.
all the things about not drinking. And I was like, well, how the fuck does that
Sure,
happen?
sure.
And then just through the course of the day, hearing from so many of my childhood friends about concerts, about shows, about the movie, about dances, the school dances with
Right.
all of his songs. And
I reached out to Seidel right away. Like, that was my go-to.
And then
to
and,
get
and
over
Tim
it.
was like, "Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you
Yeah.
have this on CD or not on CD, but burned to the computer?"
Right.
And the one thing somebody was talking about Kiss, Tom Jones and the Art of Noise redid
Yes, I
Kiss
remember that.
in the early '90s,
Yeah.
and it is one of the sexiest fucking things to take a really sexy song
Yeah.
and somehow make it even sexier.
I remember that. That's true.
Just so hot. And it was just one of those things where every time you thought, well, he can't top that, then Kiss would come out.
Yeah.
And then, like, Sexy Motherfucker would come out, or, you know, Cream.
Absolutely.
And they're just, it was like song after song after album of like, oh, it's another just great fucking song.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I found him because I got Rolling Stone as a little kid. That one, you know, my mom wouldn't agree to Playboy.
The Controversy album?
Yeah, but she wanted, she let me get Rolling Stone.
Okay.
And Rolling Stone one year named him Artist of the Year. I'd never heard of him.
Yep.
Except for When You Were Mine, which I didn't really care for.
Oh, I like
wasn't
that
into.
song.
I wasn't into. Now I like it, but at the time, Chris wasn't a falsetto
Sure.
person. Wasn't my thing.
A falsetto
A
child.
I wasn't into a falsetto child. But I remember Tim and I seeing the Artist of the Year and like recommending the 1999 album. Like had no hits off it yet, and we went and bought it, and we were like, all right, sold.
So
Like
good,
I don't
right.
know. And then we went back and found Dirty Mind and Prince
Yep.
and For You or whatever that
Yep.
everyone was called and Controversy.
Soft and Wet and Head and all those.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Morning,
had,
noon, and night, she gives me head. Love me till you're dead. Head.
I'm waiting. I was waiting for the breakout in song.
Oh my God.
We'll get a copyright slam for that.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Sounds just like it.
And Jenny had said as far as that he was hospitalized and then he died. And I remember Jacob Travather put something on Facebook about somebody stop whatever you're doing, go to Indiana Hospital, find out what happened with Prince. And it was he's so funny because he's so over the top. And I thought, well, what happened? So then I read about it, and they said that he had been released. It was a little bit later that day when they had to do the emergency stop.
Yeah,
In
they said,
Illinois.
Did he leave?
Illinois.
Mo-
not
Mo-
Indiana.
Moline, Illinois.
Did
Yeah.
he leave against medical advice?
Right.
Because they didn't have a private room. Like, there's all these rumors going around, and they're
But
all,
not at the time. Like initially, it
right.
was
But
just
now
like
it's
they
just
had the
turned
land
into like
and it
this
was the
whole
flu.
thing.
Sure.
And I remember reading that and thinking, wow, that's wild. And then they said, it really was just the flu, and so big deal. But then all of a sudden, when I saw that, that was the other thing that just immediately came back was Jacob putting that on there and thinking, what? There had to have been more, you know.
Right.
So.
And one of the things was
Hi. How you doing, honey?
one of the things that was said was the fact that he was 41 minutes from touchdown
Happy Passover.
in Minneapolis. So why would he have stopped that unless it was something that urgent?
Well, they said he
Right.
was unresponsive. So
Yeah.
unresponsive, you
Yeah.
kind of
you,
bring down
you
the
bring,
plane.
bring her down.
Bring it on. Yeah.
So
It just blows my
so
mind,
your
though.
day was you just sit down. What else affected you?
Just listening to the radio. I would press the radio buttons, and it seemed like on every station.
For
that I
those of you who
have-
are new to the show, radios are things that have been in cars for years, and you can pre-select stations on buttons and
pretty
jump
wild.
around and listen to different people playing music as opposed to an iPod.
It's pretty wild. You also have to keep in mind that I was someone that I was absolutely someone that tried to get a car that still had a cassette player when I went
Yeah.
to buy my car. So I do still listen to the radio.
Sadly, they don't do that anymore.
No, bastards. But
I just thought of a picture I should probably put up on our show. I'll continue on. I'll do it.
no, Jenny, that actually Martin's favorite kosher kid is one of my. He's my family. He's my dear friend Eddie. The favorite kosher
We just
kid.
outed you, Eddie. Sorry.
Happy Passover, my friend.
And then,
But you know the rest of it was just listening, and I put in my Prince CD because I had one sitting in my car, like just sitting right there that I listened to the hits, and I'm listening to it, and I sat down in my car to do some work and realized that it was kind of on a loop. I thought, God, these radio stations just they're really taking this to heart. They're just playing his. I forgot I put the fucking CD in. I was like, they're not even going to a commercial, for God's sake. What's happening? But it was, like you said, that CD I hadn't listened to probably since Aaron and I drove back from Minnesota,
Right.
and had the different CDs, and I was like, God, just one after another.
Yeah.
And when you think,
and then somebody would put up a song, and like the song that one of those like rare kind of mini hits that he had, Mountains. I think it was from Graffiti Bridge.
Okay.
And
movie.
so, yeah, right, but again, a terrific
I know.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
So I bought that song at work because I realized that Mountains didn't make it across through anything, and I never bought the album.
Right.
So everybody at work is like just kind of working because I was sick all week long.
Yep.
And just playing Prince songs and kind of like crying at my desk mostly because I was
Yeah.
like snotting up my nose from allergies, not from actual sadness.
Right.
But all of a sudden it gets to the part of Mountains where it goes, Bobby was a drummer. And everyone looks over at me. They're like, "Is there any weird, obscure part of a song that you're not familiar with that you don't know when to be like,
Sure.
woo,
I
prouder?
love that you know
You
that.
sang."
Yeah, I love that you know that. It really, but watching, like I said, just watching all the people, and I thought it was wonderful. There was something that a friend put on who had gone down to First Avenue, because that's where everybody, all of a sudden, many people went down to First Avenue, and there weren't any fights, there weren't any riots, there weren't, there was nothing crazy that was going on. It was just people getting together, listening to music, sharing stories like you're talking about, and just enjoying this guy who was really an amazing performer. And he would come on. He was on New Girl. Did you ever see it?
I love that.
And he came out and he's like, "Hi, I'm Prince. I'll give you a minute. I didn't give you long enough to process that, And it was very
a wonderful sense of humor about it. Yeah,
and the epitome of seeming crazy at the same time. And his performance is so over the top. The Tipper Gore stuff, God, I fucking laughed about that.
That was another thing that my girl Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love, I've talked about this numerous times before. When she opens her show every night, she usually she welcomes everybody and she goes, "It was 1974," and she goes through this entire timeline of something, and she brings it inevitably to exactly what's happening today.
Okay.
And she did that the night Prince died. She starts out, "It was 1984. And the Senate was hearing blah, 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 blah from Dee Snider and from Billy, whoever the hell, all these people, whoever these people were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moon, or whoever, I forget who all the names that she went through. This whole thing, and it all started because Tipper Gore's daughter wanted the soundtrack to Purple Rain.
Yep. Darling Nikki.
And they listened to it, and Darling Nikki came on. And for those of you that don't know what the hell Darling Nikki is, just figure it out, find it, and listen to it. And I think you'll figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Nikki had a good time with the magazine.
Sure did.
And
She enjoyed that magazine
hotel
quite a
lobby.
bit.
and that set Tipper Gore's hair afire.
Oh, it did.
And she and another girl went through a whole thing about trying to get the advisory on all of the lyrics of everything, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
And
it
that's
all
why
started,
we have explicit now.
Right, and it's, that's why we have explicit.
I have to say, at first, at that time,
Did you hate her?
I was very offended by the Tipper Gore. And then I watched an interview with her, because of course it just sounded like censorship. She's like, you can all have as many Prince albums as you want.
Sure.
I just want it to say explicit lyrics, so when my daughter wants to buy it, I can be like, no, you're 12.
Right.
Right.
I went through it with my nieces, because they came out here in like 2000-ish, 2001, they came out to visit. And we had a little dance party in one of the bedrooms at me and Tim's house, and and we were doing the disco lights and danced around all this music. And one of the songs they liked was J-Lo, "Play," and they knew it. They had the censored version, which I didn't realize had ever been done, and so I kept playing it for them without realizing they'd never heard her say, "Play my motherfucking song."
Right.
And so I didn't know what they were giggling about, because they just never heard it. And then I'm like, oh, it's probably a good thing to have that explicit thing and know like when it's appropriate for a 6-year-old girl to be running around singing "Play my motherfucking song."
Right. They had the Filthy 15.
Yes, the
is what it
Filthy
was
15.
called.
And he was number one.
Yes, he sure
Nikki
was.
was the number one.
Oh, and there are
was.
far dirtier songs out there in the world.
But not at the time, I don't think. Were
Oh,
there?
I do.
No,
yeah.
over a span of time. I think there were Filthy 15 that weren't the most current songs. They were
Right.
just the explicit songs over a range of time. Because this is in 83, 84 when this happened, because there was another song that goes back further than...
Oh, it's like Louie that they're
Well,
always
they
bitching
have-
about. But
they
nobody understands the lyrics of that song anyways.
Others that were on the list were Madonna's "Dress You Up," Black Sabbath's "Trashed," AC/DC's "Let Me Put My Love Into You."
Yeah, well,
In addition to these rock and roll Hall of
I'm going to
Famers,
dress you up in my love.
the list included artists like
She
Cyndi
Bop.
Lauper,
She
Sheena
Bop
Easton,
was on
sure.
it. Sugar Walls
the
was-
Mary Jane Girls,
which Prince
But
wrote.
no, that's
and
what,
Erotic
okay.
City, or
But
yeah, right.
Now, Erotic City is dirty, but
It
there
is,
is.
but I love that.
Yeah, actually, John Denver was on
Yes,
the
I
side.
forgot. Rocky Mountain, explaining that Rocky Mountain High was not actually about being high. That's what he was there for.
That's exactly that controversy.
Can I take a break and go make another drink? Because I really
Yeah,
need
go
another drink.
ahead.
I want to make another drink.
But now we
But
gotta
they
look at
have
it.
they have censorship of rock and roll is as old as the art form. Elvis Presley's second single, "Good Rockin' Tonight," was banned in Houston in '54 because certain lyrics were seen as too suggestive.
Oh yeah, I mean Donna
and
Summer
his
has
dancing,
22 minutes of orgasms on
Right.
"Love to Love You, Baby."
That's
like,
true. Somebody's orgasm. The Everly Brothers' "Wake Up Little Susie" was literally banned in Boston. I didn't realize that.
because they fell asleep. They fell asleep unmarried.
Oh, I see.
Right,
I'm like,
most of it is
I'm
you got to
just
remember,
kidding.
most of it is innuendo.
Right.
It's not until you get down to like "Dress You Up in My Love." There's nothing dirty in that song. She doesn't swear.
Sure.
And it's not a particularly. She's just gonna dress you up in my love all over your body. Like that's a shocking addition considering like how many dirtier songs she actually did.
That's very true.
Like even "Burnin' Up" is a little more direct hit as far as like.
And "Controversy" was one of just the best albums. I
Yeah,
thought.
but the song
yeah,
"Controversy"
Two
is
Live
good.
Crew. Oh my
Yeah.
God, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've listened to "Controversy" like 10 times today. There's nothing dirty in there.
No.
But I mean, the song in 1989, the "Let's Pretend We're Married." Let's pretend we're. I sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth. I mean, that's.
I can see.
I forgot what I walked back into.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much dirty stuff on.
So, on what?
But "Let's Pretend We're Married," like you would want to dance to your mother with that. It's just such a happy little song
Lovely
until you realize.
song.
Yeah.
He says, "Can you relate?" You know what I mean? That's his answer to "I sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth." Can you relate?
Can you relate?
So back to my initial question with
Yeah.
this was on the day, how did you react? So you sat down, it was a little bit overwhelming to you.
It was incredibly solemn to me. Like
How
it
about-
was just.
How
you gotta
about
get
you?
it.
Like when you heard
Oh,
it,
it
what
took
was,
me a while to go back to bed. I mean, there was just things I needed to listen to. I wanted to look at pictures. I put the link on our page, but I put it to the news page, just because I knew there'd be stuff that I hadn't seen before or didn't remember,
Yeah,
like wasn't
yeah.
as instant in memory. And the one that I was doing fine watching all of it. I made it through the Super Bowl clip with just a mild sniffle and still the amazement that he made it rain. I'm like, this fucker. He made it fucking rain at the Super Bowl to get that
and
purple rain
requested
thing.
that it rain harder.
Yeah, rain harder.
Can you make it rain
Yeah.
harder?
But and I just feel like the fact that he was so not there to sell records that he did All Along the Watchtower, and then I can never remember what the song is that he did by the Foo Fighters, that he like abandoned his own hits and did the Foo Fighter song because they covered Darling Nikki and he loved it and he never knew, he was always unsure of how to repay the tribute.
Oh.
So at the Super Bowl, unannounced, he went over to do the Foo Fighter song. He didn't do the whole song, but he does the Foo Fighter song in the middle of it. And so, I mean, but All Along the Watchtower, like, who the fuck watches Prince to hear, what's the dead guy's name?
Prince?
No, the Star Spangled Banner guy. Electric Haze. Purple Haze. Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi
Oh,
Hendrix.
He does
Whoa.
Jimi Hendrix.
I know where we're going.
November
does-
27th, we share a birthday.
Yeah, he does the All Along the Watchtower. I mean, it was just an amazing set that like had some Prince songs, and then you just leave it for like Prince having his own time. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004-ish,
Okay.
when George Harrison they do the tribute to George Harrison, and they do As My Guitar Gently Weeps, which seems to be my favorite song of this year since all I talk about.
That's what you've talked about for days. Yes.
So they had like Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty
sure.
and George Harrison's son and all these people just killing it on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and then Prince just comes out for the last solo and just gets that fucker done, and it is the most amazing guitar solo I've ever seen. And in the middle of it, he turns around, looks right at George Harrison's son, and they just share this beautiful smile of like, thank you for that tribute. Like you could just tell, like they are so
amazing.
in the groove. Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that, and I
That's
was
amazing.
done. Then I went to bed crying
Yeah.
because I was like, and that's all I can take.
And I still haven't watched that. You've posted it. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it's
Well, and when
beautiful,
you think
beautiful,
about
beautiful.
that kind of music just being done, I think that's because he wasn't on the radar. That wasn't anything on the radar that Prince is going to die.
Oh God,
No.
And or is sickly and whatnot. And it just, you sit down and you think of so much that we're going to miss because of it.
Right.
Oh,
And
right.
not just because of what he wrote for himself and what he would perform and whatnot, but what he wrote for so many other people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Manic Monday will always be one of my favorite songs.
Glamorous Life.
I love it. Right. I love
That's
doing
the one I
Manic
got to Google.
Monday.
I'm not sure he wrote Glamorous Life.
I believe he did.
Unless he co-wrote it with her, but she gets writing credit on that one.
That was, I love doing.
I wanted to have the hair of the clarinet player in that fucking video.
Nice.
As a child, as a kid, I remember that.
Going to karaoke, I love doing Manic Monday, but I sing just another Manic Marnie.
That's fair.
And I just always have had so much fun with that. Just stupid, but.
So that day,
how about you? Yeah.
I was awakened because on my phone, like everybody else, their phone is next to you 24/7. But because of my work, I have to have my phone on constantly.
Written by Prince, produced by both. She gets production credit.
Okay, sure.
So laying in bed, and I was awakened by a news alert that said that there, a death at Paisley Park, blah blah blah. And I woke up and I remember I read it and I'm like, this isn't going to turn out good. I just knew it wasn't going to turn out good. So I got up and literally, like in just a pair of shorts, sitting in the recliner, CNN on, half awake, and while I'm sitting there watching CNN, and I was so frustrated because the phone is blowing up with MSNBC, Reuters, Associated Press, everybody else. And literally, I got up to go to the computer to post something on CNN's website. What the fuck is wrong with you? Everybody else is on this. Why aren't you on this? And it swept the top of the hour at 11 o'clock on that day. And they went right to Wolf Blitzer, and it was live. And then it became breaking news. No, nothing else happened in the world.
Right.
Nobody,
And thank God we got a day off from Trump.
Yeah.
I mean,
the news break was wonderful.
Yeah.
Sad for why, but literally the entire day I was in shock. And I've explained this to other people. Some don't understand this, and if you don't, and I get it, because in my head there is nobody musically today. God, I'm sounding old.
No,
there's
but I get it.
There's nobody musically today that you can put into the same category.
Oh yeah.
From the standpoint of, when I realized that he was gone, I literally felt like a portion of my adolescence had just died.
Yeah.
It's no longer there. It's gone.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like Mom and I have talked about, I remember laying on the living room floor watching Thriller when Thriller was MTV World Premiere.
Oh yeah.
We watched Thriller and we were just astounded.
Sure.
And then Purple Rain came out. I remember watching the videos and I remember seeing all this, and like he was just such a part of my world at that time. Not that I followed everything that he did.
Yeah. I mean,
but
everybody kind of checked out at a certain point.
Right, but
Because you do with everybody.
Right.
I mean,
there
I haven't bought a Madonna album in like 10 years, which I think gets me kicked out of the club. And I'll weep like a girl when she goes.
But it was
absolutely.
I literally felt like a portion of my childhood had died, and it was very, very weird to feel like you were saying when Michael Jackson died. I'd not been on this earth when Michael Jackson wasn't alive, and then he died, and I'm like, he's no longer here. Like nothing new's coming. We're done. We're done now.
The weird thing with Michael Jackson was like he was my sister's generation of music.
Yep.
Then he transitioned and he became not that my sister and I are in like different generations, but and we're far enough apart that she's like 70s music, I'm like late 70s,
in
80s,
the 80s,
music.
right?
So, but when he transitioned into like disco and Thriller and everything, that's when he like fell into my wheelhouse, and all of a sudden I was a fan. And then my nieces are a fan 20 years later because he still did stuff in like 1999 that they heard of.
Just
but Prince
leave
was
me alone.
Prince was all mine. Like that one was mine. Like having the picture of him with the black Speedo, naked in the shower with a black Speedo and the crucifix, and all wet above my bed, and my mom just every day just closing the door silently. But like the whole thing about
I think she did that often, though.
Probably so.
But she was like, he was like a little bit before, just a couple seconds before Annie Lennox and Culture Club with Androgyny.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing about, am I black or white?
Mm-hmm.
Am I straight? Okay.
Yep.
Controversy.
Well played, boys. Well played.
We might get dinged
played.
for that.
Yeah, but I mean, it really was that whole like you can be so many different things, and at the time with coming out and like kind of figuring out who I was attracted to, or like that just played such a role in it because it was that beginning of sexuality being so fluid.
Ooh.
And then
I didn't realize at the time, and I wish I would have realized it then, as opposed to coming out in '93 when I did.
When you had all that lace on?
Yeah.
I never had lace on. However, I did like one of his hats that had the laser.
Yes,
I was like,
yes,
I
that's
wanted
what
that
I can
hat.
see that. Sure.
No, but the funny thing was, and I said this when we were in the movie on Sunday. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he was fucking sexy.
Yeah.
He just was. He was sexy.
He
And
exuded
he exuded sex. And somebody in an interview said that he's the only one who can toggle between spirituality and sex seamlessly. It just works.
You didn't know if you wanted to pray
But-
with you or fuck you, but either
but-
way, let's do both.
But Bruno Mars is what that is to me today.
And
Yeah.
that's who they're saying is kind of the
Yeah.
next
like it goes
coming.
James Brown into Prince into
Right.
Bruno Mars.
And
Bruno Mars.
they had on CNN a gal that was his stylist
Yes,
or something,
yes.
right? She had the cornrows.
Yes.
And it was hysterical. She's
Actually,
like,
she made that comment.
that's who I thought when you said
She made that comment.
It was so funny. She's like, how many guys could wear heels? Like stiletto kind of heels.
And that
dance
stupid
around
pirate shirt.
And have any kind of a lace midriff on. And have all of the girls in the room going crazy. And have the guys.
And the boys taking their laptops in the bathroom and locking the
Absolutely.
door.
Yes,
Like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
But I got to tell you that, and I was 14 or 15, maybe 14 years old when 1999 came out, and that was in the spank bank for a long time.
Sure.
Like he was just clicking every button for me.
But how many people
And morning,
have
noon,
an
and night he gave me
anthem?
head, left
How
me
many
till I'm
people
dead. I
have
did
that
like
anthem?
right.
I mean, for real. Like
So-
he brought us out of a century and into
right, yeah.
a
Oh,
new
yeah.
century. I mean, and that is all. People will all remember that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because of that, and people that
It became an expression immediately.
did.
Like no one said 1999 till he did.
yes,
So-
yes, you're
so-
right.
He
You're
said it, and
right.
all of a sudden it was a thing.
It was a thing.
So during
exactly.
that day, sitting and I had the luxury of being able to be at home oftentimes because I work from home. So when that came on and they started showing the tributes and doing everything, I literally it's got to be part of getting older. You just get more emotional,
Sure.
or it's just because you were 13, 14 at the time. Literally every time they would play in tribute, they would start the show a clip and they would play Purple Rain.
And that
I
beginning,
just cried.
Yeah.
I said it. I hold no bar. I sat in this house and I cried every time they played Purple Rain. They could play Little Red Corvette. They could play anything else about him, but they started with that down, 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 down. I just started crying
Yeah.
immediately.
Done,
So
yeah.
the interesting thing about this, trying to prove a point about how he transcended so many different people back in the day, back in '89. For those of you, and I'm sure Aaron from LA will fully remember, he did title track to the Batman movie.
Yes.
Bat Dance
Yep.
would have been
Yep.
that, and there was Party Time or Party something, I forget what it was. But at the time, I lived back in my hometown of Joplin, Missouri, and my best friend, we used to cruise around town. I had a Pontiac Fiero.
Oh my God, that's right.
I had a black Pontiac Fiero
Yeah.
with gray interior, tinted windows. It was our own little Batmobile. I even had
God, that's awesome.
I even had a fake cell phone antenna on it so that it looked like I had a cell phone, but I didn't. So we would drive. We used to drive around town and play off of this exact Casingle because I still
that's
have
awesome.
it.
I saw you post that.
We used to play this Casingle and sing to Bat Dance and drive around town
Sure.
like we were in the movie.
Where does he get those toys?
Where's it? You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I asked that of all my victims. We've had so much fun. So the fun thing was, he still lives his life and does his thing back then. I've been out here 23 years, and he sends me a message, and the text just said, "Do you remember riding around the Pharaoh singing Bat Dance?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that killed me too. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we've moved on in life and things have changed, but he holds that memory, and I totally remember it too.
Sure.
But it was just so fun to realize Prince transcends everybody. I don't care
Yeah.
what your religion is, what you believe, what you don't believe, Republican, Democrat, Independent, what you are.
Right.
In some way, that motherfucker touched your world,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you have a memory that's connected to him.
Absolutely.
Or you turned on the radio and heard Kiss, and you were like,
right.
I mean, you just wet your pants when he
think
did
about
that.
it. You go to Pretty Woman.
I think I want to date.
Oh yeah,
Right?
in the bathtub.
In the bathtub.
Right. Yeah.
And she's spitting out that kind of
Right.
thing where it even if you didn't know Prince's music, how many people saw Pretty Woman?
Yeah.
Right.
That know it because of that.
I was. It's on Facebook. I've posted it on my page.
I'm afraid to listen to that song because I'm afraid that when I turn it on, I still have not listened to that since he died because I'm afraid if I listen
It's
to
only
Kiss,
been 5 days.
I know,
Calm
but I
down.
will never stop. Like I will put because the controversy's been on for like
Yeah.
the whole
Oh,
5
yeah,
years.
that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that when Kiss starts, it's gonna just go between him and Tom Jones.
Oh, and I actually play the Tom Jones version in the bar all the time. Because the Tom Jones version, the remix, that's hot. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
For somebody who's 97 years old, Tom Jones did a good job at that.
I can't type fast enough. To respond to my favorite, kosher kid that's in the chat room.
Hi, Kosher.
To even mention Bruno Mars, he says in the same realm of Prince isn't acceptable. You're absolutely right. Prince is one of a kind.
No, I agree with that.
I give
That's where the influence leads.
But
to.
the influence,
one thing
right.
leads.
But
One thing leads to
clearly,
another.
Bruno studied
Yeah.
not only
James Brown.
James Brown,
Right.
but Prince and
Elvis,
Michael and Elvis.
Elvis.
Right, his influences are many.
well,
Right.
and he's incredibly talented. That's where that's where that frustration.
And writes a lot of the
And
music,
Writes
plays a lot of the
plays
instruments.
a lot of the instruments.
And oddly, just like Prince, is this
Tall.
fucking
Yes,
tall
he's not
then-
a big
and
guy.
is
and then
just
dances.
sex.
And a dynamo. Like he really is.
when mom and I saw him in concert, I think we were both like, okay, that was hot.
Yeah. Having an uncomfortable moment with my mother.
Yeah, I didn't really give a shit because
No, because
I
it's hot.
would if there was a sign up sheet, I'd be on it, and so would she. Because like
Right.
he's a
Like-
cute kid.
Well,
I told you
and
with my mom in Vegas watching the Elvis impersonator doing the 68 comeback special in the black
In the
leather.
black leather?
Yeah, he wasn't doing the Vegas Elvis. He was doing the black leather 68 comeback
Sure.
special. And he did Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And my mom and I were both like, I'll be in the bathroom for a minute. But, I mean, she and I are like bombed up our
And then
asses.
you both were, I knew a girl named Nikki. I guess.
Right,
We're
right.
both wiping away emotional tears in Vegas. I'm like, oh, she's so good.
Oh, I love that.
And I seriously, both of us probably would have got on that
Sure.
guy. You know what I mean?
But that's
I got $20, mister. How good's your career?
20 bucks is 20 bucks.
Exactly. How far
Nice
is this Elvis
beaver.
career going?
But I think that's why I got almost, this is a strong word, but offended when Michael used to, because Michael Jackson was fantastic. He was amazing, and I had all of his albums. I loved his music.
Yeah.
It's still so fun to put his music
Sure,
on,
sure.
and it's very fun. But as far as that, and was he a musical genius? And so many, and putting things together and
Yeah,
writing.
yeah.
But
you don't have to
Prince-
break one down to build one up. You know what
No,
I mean? Like,
well, you're exactly right. But when I'm 15,
oh yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
watching the music awards, I'm breaking down that bitch, and I'm thinking, why isn't Prince winning? Because Prince can
Oh,
play.
I'm still
all
mad
of
at
the
Melissa Manchester for
instruments.
having a Grammy for You Should Hear How She Talks About Justin.
That's,
Well, you
that's
should hear.
such a
You should
great point. But that's something where Prince could just, he'd just pick up any instrument.
Anything. Well,
Yeah.
that NBC after party
Yeah.
showed, like you were saying.
No, but like something that he had never played before.
He'll figure it
yeah.
out.
He'll figure it out.
Right.
And that's what was, I thought, so incredibly special about him. And I wonder how many
Instruments.
people that instrumentally can do that to
don't-
this day.
Right.
And that, because that's what's amazing to me. I feel like Lady Gaga would be somebody like that.
Probably
maybe.
similar, yeah.
But looking at those kind of things, to wonder who now can carry that torch.
I don't know who
basically.
can. What was
writing great music.
You probably saw it, and for those of you listening, if you're friends of mine on the Facebooks, you've probably seen it. And I talked to Al about this. There is a video that surfaced of him in 84, 83, I think it was 83.
Okay.
He's performing actually at First Avenue.
Okay.
He's performing there, and he had, I think it was like the drummer's brother was the sound guy.
Yeah,
And he
I
had
can't
the-
remember who Bobby Z is, but it's Bobby Z's brother.
He has
Okay.
bro-
He was a drummer. Yeah, he is the drummer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Musically, we get that.
thank you. We got it. So the video, it's a 14-minute video, and it shows the night he performed. He performed Purple Rain live
Yep.
with the band in First Avenue. Somebody had the wherewithal to take a VHS recorder and record him doing the performance, but sound-wise, it was recorded just like every other concert's ever been recorded since
But
time began.
it's the recording of the movie.
It's the recording of Purple Rain. The first time it was performed live. Wendy is his guitarist.
Yeah.
There's all of these things, but it's 14 minutes and it was edited down. But the fact that you realize when you watched it and this is what took me, it still astounds me. It was him performing it live, and then he realized what he had. The guitar solo in the middle was way longer. It was edited out. He took it back into the studio. They cut it down. They put it, but what you hear on the Purple Rain soundtrack, the last 4 tracks that are live were performed that night in First Avenue,
Right.
and that Purple Rain that video is that track that we all know and love. We've all heard for 20 or 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
But when you realize that that's the genius, that's him. That's what he figured it out. He knew it.
Sure.
But when you watch it be created,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of opportunities to see something be created on video. Like we've heard about a lot of different things over the years musically. This is when Ray Charles did this, or this is when Elvis did this, or this is when Stevie Wonder did that. But you're like, to me, that was the first video that I got to watch somebody create it as they went, and now I know what it became.
It's not as spontaneous as you think it is. It's just the first time he performed it live, but it's the recording for the movie.
I don't care, but still, he did it but he knew.
Man.
Right.
When he was performing live, the guitar riff was excellent. He just kept going.
Because all they did was that's the track that they use, and then they orchestrated a few things later. There's a few more instruments.
Right, there's backups, there's things that happen.
It's produced, but that's the actual, and they say in it that's where he recorded that last part for the movie, Purple Rain into Baby I'm a Star. No, I Would Die for You into Baby I'm a Star.
But it's astounding when you see it, because very infrequently do you actually get to see something like that.
Right. So you're seeing what he's lip syncing to in the movie. This is someone is taking a video, and you're getting to see what eventually he will lip sync to later.
I realize I'm not completely an idiot on this. I realize back in the day, you could not record Elvis doing this, Johnny Cash doing this.
Yes.
You couldn't record it because they didn't have the convenience of just having a phone like we do now.
Right.
People get recorded, and it's all different. It's different. But at the time, 30 some odd years ago,
35.
you didn't have that.
Right.
And somebody realized, well, I'll just record this.
Sure.
I'll just shoot this on a camcorder.
And that's what's amazing is like that audio has always existed, but the fact that now somebody has been like, oh, guess what? I was videotaping that at the same time.
Right.
Because the audio portion is. And you can tell by the screams, like that is the recording that you hear in the movie.
Because even the graphics in the video shows you. By the way, listen for the audience scream. It's in there. And what I also loved was in Purple Rain on the soundtrack, the running of Doc. What do they call him? Doc, whatever the hell he was on
the doctor.
Doctor, right? He keeps running on the keyboards because he's like just filling time. He's like, I don't know where we're going, what we're doing. He just keeps filling time as he's playing, and you hear that in the live track. And
that's just playing somebody in.
Out.
Oh, either way, but you can play somebody in or play them out.
But it's like you just hear the runs of the keyboard that were. I mean, it could have had a cold fade ending, but because Prince was playing and going on, Doc kept running and running and running.
But I mean, that's.
Oh, it was just to me. It's orgasmic. It's almost orgasmic to me. Yeah. Oh my God.
I have Purple Rain at home. That's why I haven't. As far as like going to see it, I saw it in the theaters.
Just watch the 5 videos.
Yeah, enjoy those. It's almost.
I have
the 2 songs by the time.
They throw the woman in the dumpster in the video, so you're fine.
Awful.
Yeah, as long as I get to see Morris Day has family, then I'm fine.
Oh, aside from that, what's the password? What? That's what I said. What's the password? That whole thing with Jerome Benton and him. There are so many funny
The
things.
part that's not in the movie that must be from the album is or seeing them live. The Jesse, not Jerome.
Not Jerome.
Yes.
Yes.
It
All
was
right. Let's move on.
Let's move on. We're going to do this. We're going to come back with headlines. Stay with us. I didn't realize the entire first hour was going to be about Prince, but it was.
I kind of figured.
Yeah.
So get over it. Here we go. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
If you think it sucked so far, just wait till after this 30-second dance break.
Well, the squirrels are back in the attic. Your dad won't call an exterminator. He says it's personal this time. Where are you? It's very loud there. Are you taking a Zumba class?
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Here we go. An attempt at headlines. What is this, a Tuesday? Oh, it's a Tuesday. A bush baby for your bush, baby.
Family Dollar, fuck you.
Prince died and Sheriff Joe's an asshole.
Damn it.
Okay,
Sorry. The penis on TV controversy.
no one saw the signs.
You won't believe what OJ wants to do after he gets out.
The more you shoot, the better you feel.
Dear 2016, fuck you.
An EMT mows the yard of a patient taken away in an ambulance.
My headlines came up way late. That's why I'm like, where is everything? I was just reading through. Sorry about that.
Did I step on a headline?
I don't think so.
Okay, because
Well,
I
the
thought
Sheriff Joe one you did.
Oh,
That
okay,
one
well
I
then
had.
that's a
Yeah,
step on.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we'll get through it. That's all
I'm
right.
not worried about that at all.
All right, we'll get to
Yeah.
it. Something like that. Holy crap. Oh my God. Well, the headline that I saw, a bush baby for your bush baby. An Oregon man is accused of tipping a prostitute an exotic primate swiped from his own pet store, along with the stolen Girl Scout cookie money and a laptop computer.
Wow.
Gooey, which is the name of a primate who was in protective custody after detectives learned that the Galago, or bush baby, was used to tip a prostitute. Eugene, Oregon Police Department states. A 2-week-long investigation, it took this long, 2 weeks. 2-week-long investigation into the missing Galago primate and Girl Scout cookie money from the Zany Zoo pet store eventually led Eugene police detectives to a prostitute at a hotel who was in possession of the animal.
Oh, God.
I have a picture of the animal. Stand by. Where I click. I have so many things to click. Where the fuck is my? There we go. Hear this. Here's the animal in question.
Oh.
The unnamed. This is my favorite. This is my favorite line of the story. The unnamed out-of-town prostitute identified the client as Nathan McLean, who owned the Zany Zoo pet store, where the money, the mammal, and the laptop went missing from, according to the Eugene Police Department. Now, police say the thefts were reported on March 1st and March 6th, but did not say who called in the burglaries. The amount of the Girl Scout cookie money was not disclosed. The prostitute, who was found with the primate on March 17th.
The prostitute was found with a primate.
She was found on March 17th with the primate, was cooperative with the detectives, and turned over the exotic animal. Exotic animals are illegal to possess in Oregon without a license from the State Department of Agriculture. However, 2 days later, Oregon State Police arrested McLean in one of their office building parking lots for driving under the influence of a controlled substance. According to Eugene Police, McLean was observed exiting an adult porn shop next door. Why is it that porn shops are right next door to the police station? Why is that? Who builds these things?
You just got to know.
Anyway, he was under the influence of a methamphetamine, the police said. McLean was interviewed, and investigators determined that he was the client who allegedly paid the prostitute with the money and the stolen animal from Zany Zoo. Now, I do happen to have, because by technology standards, I have the mugshot of him, and there it is. The Galago primate, also called Bush Baby, is safe. And
He looks like a man.
That's
Am I
not
behind
him.
a picture?
No, that's the one who owned the zoo.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
The Galago primate, also called Bush Baby, is safe and currently housed at the sanctuary, according to police. The animal, named Gooey, will be returned to the Zany Zoo after a new license is issued to the store, because his wife removed his name from everything to do with the store and is taking it over completely. And that is how you tip a prostitute, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
It's fantastic.
There's good ways and bad ways.
Yes,
That's
just
right.
the tip or the monkey. I'm not sure
Monkey.
which.
I'll take a primate.
I'll take a primate.
For $200, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Harrison.
Oh, hi, Hair.
So, a Family Dollar fuck you. I don't know if you,
I did
you
see
saw
this. I did see that.
This post from Melissa Langford in New Orleans.
A lovely man.
A lovely.
Kidding.
We're not sure.
Yeah.
Judges?
TBD.
Judges rule.
TBD.
So she put a video up, and I didn't send that to you, Clayton, because I think it's kind of ambiguous a little bit. We don't see what happened ahead of time, but it says this. So this is me being denied service for being gay at hashtag Family Dollar, and she wanted people to share. She had already contacted the Family Dollar headquarters and done all this and had gotten no response. So this was her post from Facebook. It started off with the cashier loudly voicing her opinion on how much she hates gay people. And she says, as I casually stand in line realizing what she's saying. After 5 or 6 minutes, or at least it felt that long, of listening to her yell and preach to other customers about how, quote, gay people need to get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, from what I understood.
Oh.
They got something wrong in the head. In they head. Sorry. And that she had the right to refuse service to anyone she wants. Gays are sick, etc. I started to writhe away internally. I wanted to cry right then and there.
It could be sick, like like sometimes bad is good.
Right.
Maybe it's sick, like we are sick.
Like when people say
we
I'm
are
fat.
Sick. Yeah, you're fat. PHAT, like
that's
Cindy
what I'm
Crawford.
saying. I knew that's
what
you
I mean.
meant.
That's what
I
I'm
knew.
about. Right.
That's what they talking about.
They are sick.
I'm not sold on this.
She says, in fact, I'm crying
my
right
second
now.
cocktail, by the
Because
way.
y'all didn't hear the hateful passion in her voice. She was so loud, so cruel, so uneducated, selfish, and just outright mean. Anyway, she says, I spoke
But ready
up.
to vote for Trump.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Melissa said, excuse me, but I'm very, very gay, and you're really offending me.
Very
Very
gay.
gay.
Think what you want, but keep it to yourself.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 12.
Real
Yeah.
gay. I've never been so gay in my entire life. I feel
I can't
like
even
I'm
see the Kinsey scale from here.
super gay.
Super gay.
Super. So apparently she says she flipped out, went totally off. An exchange of words passed between us and her and the guy in line ahead of me, which she had denied service to as well because he was defending gay people. Once I pulled out my camera, she toned it down. She says, as you can see, she went as far as leaving the counter and going by the exit just to not have to serve my gay ass. You can hear her say it. The conviction is all over, but you get the gist of it. She says, I'm really, she was really upset about this. The fact, she says, this is the worst anti-gay shit I've ever dealt with in my 34 years. And she added, and I have kind of a spin on this too, that she was there buying items to donate to special needs kids. Fuck her. She's an ignorant waste of skin. I appreciated that. But someone,
I like Al. I was like, I'm on board.
someone had a
Fair assessment.
You remember when there was the issue, and I'm not saying that this isn't real, but how I'll tell stories in here that I haven't necessarily looked up and
vetted.
Oh, right,
You haven't
right,
vetted,
right.
right?
And because
Like
mainly,
anything that says that Sarah Palin is smart.
oh, absolutely. I feel that there was no
Or
need.
any delightful story where Michelle Bachman's on a gay cruise.
if there's anything about couch fucking, I mean,
Oh.
I don't think
I
that
just
I
read it.
need.
Yeah.
I don't need anything. But or the two people that lived upstairs at Walmart in the ceiling.
Yes. That's completely true.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Those kind of things, fine. But someone made a really great point, because you remember the receipt, the server, I feel like it was in Maryland, forgive me for this one, who had the receipt that she wrote on.
Oh, right. Because a lot of those stories end up being
Bullshit.
bullshit. Yeah.
And what a shame. Now, I don't think that this one is necessarily a shame. Or, I mean, untruth. But this, Sean Allen commented, if there was as much evidence of this discrimination as there are comments supporting this woman's claim, he says, all I see in this video is a confrontation, the which there's zero context as to what preceded it. An accusation is hurled that it's due to homosexuality, which the clerk adamantly and insistently denies, leaving this as a he said, she said.
Yeah.
That made me laugh because it was a gay woman and a female. But and the androgyny. We're not.
He said, it said. I don't know
yeah,
how
Right,
we're
we're
going to
not
make
sure.
this.
So I do see evidence of a confrontation. He says, I see evidence of a clerk maybe handling the confrontation erroneously. I, however, don't see anything related to discrimination or the context to the reason this occurred. And he said, can anyone say BS? And, look what was written on my receipt, viral stories. How about the very recent, very well-contrived story of the fag being written on the cake? You guys heard about that?
Yes, yes.
How about the videos that are conveniently started only at the point that favors the recorder's claim? So it
And that's
is
true about this one
interesting.
because the video does start like halfway through her story.
right.
Like you miss all the virulent
pre-rant.
Yeah,
And if it really went on for that, like seemingly, because it does feel like it's a long time, even if it's just one word. It feels like, God, stop. But have your phone out to catch some of that as well. I'm not saying Melissa Langford is. I don't know Melissa Langford.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to say that it's true, untrue. But I thought it was that it's a sad display because that kind of stuff does happen.
Yeah. Oh,
where people are commenting, saying things that they shouldn't. It sounded like a "What would you do?" episode.
Right,
like John
right.
Quinones kind of.
Like, let's say you're watching Purple Rain. How
Right.
do you react to the woman being thrown in the dumpster? Like, I was like,
Right.
I can't, like, wow, that's
Right.
a different, like, let's hope that's the 80s and that went
Yeah.
away in 1984 and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I just, a Family Dollar fuck you. And according to this, she had reached out to Family Dollar headquarters. They never called back. She contacted a number of different places. And everything that she put this out to was New Orleans Advocate magazine and Fox News. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
That was
Such
fantastic.
supporters.
What? And Ellen DeGeneres. So I thought that was great. That she reached out to Ellen. And so we'll get to the bottom of this, folks.
If Ellen can get to the can't, then no one
We're
can.
going to get to that. We're going to dance it off. Fine,
This is
sir.
a story that I found, and it's really an opinion piece, so I'm going to read it as such. These are not my words. I'm merely, I plagiarize everybody else's shit, but this is literally an opinion piece. In a year that's already seen David Bowie, Maurice White, Merle Haggard, among others, pass away, innovators, each and every one of them, all die. The stunning news that Prince passed away was a real kick in the gut for all of us, and I agree with that. The reason for that is Prince was awesome, and he was too damn young to die. And the closer that I get to the age that Prince was, I realize, he was young.
The definition of old just keeps getting further and further away. Yeah.
Changes.
Sure does.
When I was 25, oh my God, 35, 45. I'm looking 50 down the barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, in 3 years, we're going to be doing the half century.
Yeah.
Mom, sorry.
3.5.
Yeah, whatever.
Fine.
Everybody loved Prince. For one day, it seemed like each and every person set aside their petty differences to join together and acknowledge his genius, his talent, his absolute originality that influenced everybody and will continue to influence everybody, generations of artists and music fans to come. For a brief moment in time, it was refreshing to see folks reacting like human beings with a heart and a soul, and everyone acting decently for once. And then, because we are based in Phoenix, Arizona, Maricopa County, USA.
Yeah.
Then
God bless us.
there was Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who just had to be a dick with his passive-aggressive bullshit. From a screenshot on the 21st of April, 2016, at 8:18 p.m., it looked just like this. Condolences to family of Prince, who allegedly died of an overdose. Just celebrated 20 years of drug rehab in my jails. Drugs destroying a nation. I guess I really don't need to tell you that Sheriff Joe, who calls himself America's toughest sheriff, is a monstrous racist and sadist.
And that's being kind.
That's
that
being
is.
kind, right?
Yeah. Hashtag douchebag.
If there was any justice in the world, he also would be living in one of his own tents in the 150-degree heat when he's not working on one of his chain gangs in the lovely Arizona sun in the summertime.
Right.
What makes his extreme dickishness so awful is that his highly unlikely he gives a damn about Prince with Sheriff Joe's Twitter account primarily used to promote himself and his goon squad.
Yeah.
So why did he do it? Simple. Like I said, again, this is an opinion piece. Like I said, he's an asshole.
I'm going to be okay with that opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always been an asshole. He'll always be an asshole. Combine that with his bigotry, and you can see why he's a racist rock star in his own right for conservatives all across the country. In fact, if those of you paying attention, he's supporting Trump. Needless to say, the good folks on Twitter let him know what they thought, although many comments were lost after he deleted the original tweet. There were many, if you go to Twitter and look up Sheriff Joe, there were several tweets anti-Joe and railing against him for many things. Just, Joe, next time you do this, just don't. Stay out of it. It's none of your business. Don't be a prick. Don't be a self-promoting, dead-souled, sociopathic, racist dickbag with a God complex. In other words, for a moment, Sheriff Joe, please, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. I don't think that he would know how.
No, and there is a conversation that really we need to amp up, and it's become a topic of conversation and late night reading at work. Prescription drugs in this country are just out of control, and the new crisis now is heroin.
Yeah,
this has nothing to do with Prince.
No.
Prince had nothing to do with
I'm
heroin.
sorry. I had a picture of that story too. I'm sorry. That's the picture. Not that they were ever together.
There's a decent human being on the left, and that's a turd on the right. For those of you watching,
Didn't realize that. Sorry.
Nasty fucker.
but like currently with this oxycodone prescription pill thing that people are turning now to, yes, you guessed it, heroin, because it's cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah.
And now this,
Like light beer.
this right.
Tecate Light.
Sadly.
I think a little bit worse things about heroin than I do light beer.
But I mean, it's easy to get. That's the point I was making. Easy to get.
It's as easy to get as light beer, and it turns out it's all over the country, and it's becoming such a huge problem that we're just addressing in all the wrong ways. So for your reading pleasures, if you will, it's a town in Indiana. Let me find the name of the town, and I will let you all go. There's a little town in Indiana, heroin problem. There's only like 4,000 people in the town.
Is it Heroin, Indiana?
No.
I'm just adding names to cities. I don't have any idea.
No.
I'm 1.5 cocktails in. Who cares?
Okay, it's called Austin, Indiana. It has 4,000 inhabitants, and at least 190 are HIV positive. At one point, it was going 20 people a week from sharing needles. And this county, this city, this town is so decimated by poverty and unemployment and all these things going wrong that these people are living like pack animals, that they're going house to house wherever they can find electricity or running water in an abandoned house.
Wow.
And they set up shop there for as long as they can keep both going.
Like squatters.
Squatters. But how they're working as a herd is really kind of alarming, as like the how low this town has sunk into like they're having their own zombie apocalypse. It's just, you just have to read this story and read that everything that everyone is doing. And so our buddy Governor Pence of Indiana.
Oh, Pence.
Such a caring soul.
Periods for Pence.
Periods for Pence. He was told by the CDC that he had to get a clean needle exchange going in this town of 4,000 people. And he was like, no, I don't want there to be a drug problem. And if you
It's already there.
read the article, the CDC's like, oh, buddy.
Step up.
You're not in front of a camera now.
Right.
The drug problem's done. Now we're trying to stop diseases. Like the CDC's like, oh, one horse is so far out of the barn we can't even see it anymore.
I didn't realize this story.
So it's Austin. Find the story. It's Austin, Indiana. But this is going on in New Hampshire, Connecticut.
Yeah, very much.
A lot of the East Coast is getting a lot of this.
It's all these suburban towns, and I just get like, are you that fucking bored? But I mean, this prescription drug problem that it's just not getting addressed. Sure. And people are going over it because, well, they're prescription drugs. They're not smoking pot. Smoke the fucking pot. Like, stop with this shit.
Pot is natural. And again, and you made the comment earlier, I have never, ever smoked pot in my life. I probably had a contact high a few times. In fact, recently I walked by somebody in the bar and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But I've never, and that's beside the point. But the fact that grows out of the ground.
But you're also not addicted to prescription pills, too. So
no, I'm not.
Looking up.
But there's other things that you do. They're like, well, do you do acid? I'm like, no, I might. There's poppers. There's things. There's other things in life. You're like, people are like, well, do you do pot? Well, but I'm not as opposed. When I was younger, I didn't understand and I get it. But now that I'm older, I'm like, that grows out of a garden, for God's sakes. Who fucking cares?
But this addiction problem.
The chemicals, heroin, chemicals, the meth, like you pull shit out from under your sink in the kitchen and you concoct something. Why would you ever ingest that? Yeah, be it orally or in a vein? Why would you ever?
But the drug problem in the country is so messed up, and the priorities are so like we're at war with countries over pot. Well, we're losing a town in Indiana
Right.
to
Sure.
heroin. Like,
We're fighting a war, but losing the battle.
but they're going for the heroin because oxycodone is too expensive.
Right.
The prescription drug is too expensive.
Well,
because
and
they
that,
used to
you
call
know-
it hillbilly heroin. That
Yeah,
was
Right.
the
It's
name
true.
for
It's true.
oxycodone or oxycontin was hillbilly heroin.
You know,
that one bug is back from last week.
Where? What bug? What?
it
Where?
was, I saw it.
Where? Kill it! Kill the motherfucker!
I can't.
I can get my electric tennis
Oh,
racket.
good. Yeah, no,
You want
it's
that?
fine.
Okay.
The idea of prescription drugs is really scary because
Do you deal with this in your job every day, or no?
Not really. Not really. But there are a lot of people we have to watch for that, with pill seekers because of our clients getting
Or grandma's
scripts.
medication.
Oh,
Right,
it's very
yeah,
good point. They
all
live
kinds of
with
things.
grandparents.
Yep.
Okay, good
Yep.
point. Good point.
And making sure that our providers aren't doing things that they shouldn't be doing,
Okay.
taking things. But aside from that, when if somebody's in that much pain, and I'm not talking about a suicidal pain, I'm talking about physical pain.
Your hip's bad.
The hip's bad,
Your
and
back
he
is
apparently had. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
okay.
And Erin will talk openly about the fact that she had an issue with Percocet after her back surgery.
Right.
The idea that you
I
just
do enjoy Percocet. I'm just going to tell you.
But that's the difficult part because people do. It
And
doesn't
it's
do anything for
prescription,
me.
so
and
it
it's
must be
prescription,
healthy.
right?
A doctor prescribed it. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
And I went to the doctor. Maybe
But you're
today.
taking another one and another one to make sure.
Maybe today.
Oh no! I went to the doctor yesterday,
Right.
and I got my annual blood drawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was sitting across from this very attractive person who was getting her blood drawn at the same time, and they're talking about Princeton. She's like, "You cannot die from Percocet," and she was just like, "That's just stupid. Why would people say you could die from Percocet?" And I looked, and the lady's taking my blood, and she's like, "This is killing you, isn't it?" Because she knows
She knows you're a
the
nurse.
Sure.
I'm like, die from anything you want to die from if you take enough of it.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
Sure, if you get yourself a handful of it, sweetheart, and mix it with rum and Coke, you'll be
Kool-Aid will kill you.
You'll be dead in a minute.
You were talking about the fact because now is Percocet a kidney thing or a liver thing?
I never
thing?
remember if Percocet has Tylenol in it or not. The ones that have Tylenol in it,
Right.
That's a liver killer.
that's a liver killer.
Right, and or maybe he was taking that and Tylenol. I mean, anything to dull a pain, a
Yeah.
physical pain like that. And when you're up on stage and you're dancing and you need
and,
your hips.
and word was that there's a hip issue. That
Well, he had a hip
Yeah.
surgery in 2010, I think it was.
But needed a replacement, and because
and
of
he
his
needed,
religion,
right? He needed them
that
to
would-
work on both of them, and with needing that surgery, he would have had to have a blood transfusion.
there's a great possibility because it's a very bloody surgery.
Right.
Again, this has been a topic of conversation all
Yeah.
weekend
Right,
at
he's
work.
talking about-
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know anything about hip surgeries or what goes on, but from what I understand, it's very bloody. And smart enough to know, like, I don't believe in blood transfusion, so I'll wait till they
Right.
develop a bloodless
Yep.
way to do this.
Yep.
And the lady that worked ortho that was telling us about it, she's like, oh, that doesn't exist.
That doesn't
Okay.
happen.
Yeah, it's not going to
I
happen.
mean, she described the surgery to me, and I'm like,
Okay, and we're good.
Even
we're good.
you, even
Yeah.
you.
oh, I can't even talk about broken bones. Like, I can do anything. You can have
Really?
your guts hanging out in front of me. You show me a broken leg, and I'm like, I can't do it.
No kidding.
Oh, but
I did not realize that.
Everybody has something that grosses them
sure.
out. Like, you never know where it's going to come from.
Wow.
And then we
yeah.
make sure that if we know that something's going on that makes somebody sick, we'll go find them. Oh, come here.
Come here, look at this.
Look at
you're-
this compound fracture.
Because you're all assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And it takes a really warped
but
sense
it
of
really
humor.
is scary. I mean, who knows if that's what happened with
Right, and it would be sad if you're just dealing with pain and you made a mistake, like you had a little extra pain, you're by yourself, no one tells you to sit up.
Right.
Sounds like he
Absolutely.
didn't drink. I mean, that seems pretty consistent
I don't-
along the
right.
line that there was no alcohol
Well, and you
involved.
can
so-
get a little screwy on Percocet.
right, you can get a little screw on anything.
Absolutely, but I'm saying like they.
And you get stoned and fall down a flight of stairs and break your neck. Like, nothing's perfect.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of you who've been listening to the show for the past several minutes and made me make the comment about how I like Percocet, the last time I took it was like 1995. For those, I had my wisdom teeth taken out. I had a wonderful 3-day weekend off work. I was in a waterbed in a very cold apartment, and I enjoyed the weekend.
And who knows which one of those factors was what made it so pleasant.
Right.
The air
All of it
conditioning, the
together.
waterbed. Yeah.
All three, as far as I'm concerned, because everybody that checked me, you find, I was waiting.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I need to go back to a waterbed today because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I did.
No, I can't even imagine.
Wisdom teeth out on a Friday.
No.
Take for pain every 4 hours. I took them every time I woke up.
Yeah.
Well, waterbed's one of those things where I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I'm allergic to cats. Do you have a cat?
I have 2, but not. I have 2 now.
That's funny.
I have 2 cats, but no waterbed.
Right.
Because I like to throw out the Ruthie trick. I just throw out an allergy, then find out, does this apply here? I'm allergic to basil. What do you got?
Can I leave?
Open up your spice cupboard. There it is. Coriander.
I gotta leave.
Time. Damn it.
Do you have shag carpet?
Parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme. I'm allergic to all of them.
Look at
Do you have shag carpet or polished floors? You have
I've got
tile?
a wicked allergy to one of them.
You have cable? I have to leave.
I gotta go.
I gotta leave.
I should have known when I walked in
And the
door.
worst part is I actually pulled this trick on someone who knows me. Because they're like, you can just stay here. I'm like, oh, I'm allergic to cats. He's like, Al. I'm like, oh, that's right. You know I'm not allergic to cats. Fuck.
Son of a bitch.
He's like, but he was so appreciative. He's like, but I appreciate that you wasted that on me.
You tried to sell it.
Yeah.
Good. It's good. I like it.
He's like, I was there when you decided that a cat allergy was going to get you out of a lot of stuff.
How is Tim?
Fucker.
Good stuff. Very
I
good
just
stuff.
guessed. I
Oh
didn't
no,
know.
it's the truth. Because I was trying to get rid of our roommate's cat, and then he came. The guy that was renting a room from us had a cat that I just hated.
Oh,
And
God.
so I was trying to get him to get rid of the cat. So I got a note from my doctor saying I was allergic to
I was
cats.
allergic to cats.
And then Tim brought home a stray cat the same fucking day. I'm like, you motherfucker. He's like,
can't
well, I
do
know
that.
the cat allergies. I'm lying. Like, so now I've got 2 cats? Now I live in a house with 2 cats. With a note from my doctor. A legitimate,
legitimate
notarized
note.
That's funny.
As opposed to this show, which is not legitimate at all.
So when we started the headlines,
Yeah.
I had no
A day
idea what
ago?
I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just reading
Yeah.
different headlines. So I'm going to read my actual headlines. That I
Okay,
have
good.
from-
Wait, now?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll read them now.
Sir. We
Okay.
only got through 2 in 34
Yeah,
minutes.
I know, right?
I got another
So-
one coming up.
So we've got a nude restaurant to open in London.
Oh,
Okay. All right,
yeah.
all right.
I thought, love of Jesus. This is the best diet I have ever heard
Yeah.
of. I mean, for other people. If I were to show up nude, people would be like, "Oh,
Can you imagine
Oh,
if you were
hell
thin
no.
like you want to be, like I want to be, how big your tits would be? Have you ever thought about that?
Well, and they're reduced.
and that's a reduced. Yeah.
that's reduced boobage."
Bring that up at the meeting. Jesus Christ.
I like to look at nice
Write
looking
that down.
people, but just put some pants on for you. Serve me my
Well,
food.
you know, so the restaurant, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, is called the Bunyadi.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Bunyadi.
Al knows
keep
French.
your bunyadi at
No,
home.
I heard this story, and I'm pretty sure that's how they
It
pronounced it
says,
as well.
leave the necktie at home. A new pop-up restaurant
Yeah.
in London called the Bunyadi will give diners the option to chow down in the buff starting this June. It's only going to be open for 3 months, and I guess they already
Oh.
have a waiting list. Like,
Shush.
yeah, from what they said, it's a huge waiting list.
Okay, you know what's funny? I never assumed that the diners were naked. I just assumed the waiters were the
No, no,
waitresses.
no, no, no.
Oh.
You're going in.
Oh, I'm with
Yeah,
you.
nude restaurant. You're going in and you're eating in the
The
buff.
booth.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, cool.
Launched. It says launched by Lollipop, the
no.
creators of Breaking Bad.
I would think that a lot of.
I just don't want to sit in the same. Like,
No.
No, there's a lot.
First
there
off,
needs
is
to be
it
a lot
cloth?
of
No.
cleaning.
Is it,
I would
is
leave
it
ho-
vinyl? No.
I would leave hungry because I'm like, I'm not eating that.
No.
No.
I'm not sitting there.
No.
No.
Ugh.
There would be
When
so
you get
much
up, it's like,
Lysol.
Yeah.
Squack. What the hell is
Saxby
that?
Chambliss.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
That's the noise
When Bill
everybody makes
Cosby
when
gets out of a vinyl chair, Saxby Chambliss.
It says this spot will take diners to a beginning where everything was fresh, free, and unadulterated from the
Oh.
trappings of modern life.
Non-cuckolded.
The Bunyadi plans to use only the most natural homegrown ingredients to envelop its patrons in a Pangea. Am I saying that right?
Sure sounds
Pangea
good.
is like the old.
Pangea-like world.
Yeah, that's
right?
the before
call
the
Dion Brown
That's
in a minute.
before the continental shift when
Sure.
it was all one continent.
But I've just
The
never
what?
heard of. I
When
don't
all
know
the
if I'm
continents were
pronouncing
one
it right.
before they split up
Oh, yes.
and divided.
When the
it's called
dinosaurs
Pangea.
and the humans were coexisting.
I think it was before even then. It's
It
called
says
Pangea.
Where we're free from phones, electric lights, and even clothing. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
we haven't been
boy.
free of clothing for a long
This
time.
can't be good.
How about I just leave my phone
Look at
outside?
look at the Flintstones, for God's sakes. They had clothes.
You leave my bunyadi out of this. It is all set, as I said, to start in June. The eatery will feature wood flame grilled food served on handmade clay plates with edible cutlery. In a space,
Edible cutlery?
which by the way is a dynamic idea, and it's out of India, and it's a phenomenal fucking idea.
Until you have to get the lesbian fucking spork. You know what
How
I
do
mean?
you get this? How do you get the fork out of your ass?
Well, and now you can get a drink.
We go back to my poppers comment from earlier.
Up in this way, out that way.
We believe people should get the chance to enjoy and experience a night out without any impurities. No chemicals, no artificial colors, no electricity, no gas,
No lube.
appetite.
No gas. There's going to be gas.
There's going to be gas. No phone and even no clothes if they wish. That's
Not
one
a
of the
single
things.
luxury
Yeah.
like
It's a-
Robinson Crusoe.
As
Primitive as can be.
The idea is to experience true liberation. That would be true libation if
Yeah.
I'm having
Oh,
to be
yeah.
there naked on my
No
hammered.
shit.
I can't even imagine how drunk I would have to be to be
there-
nude in public.
No.
A little more than now.
No. There are bamboo partitions that between the tables.
Ouch, that's got to hurt too.
That'd be
I'm
lovely,
going to sit
wouldn't
on
it?
bamboo
Right? And
on a
wood.
hot
like
June day.
wood stumps. That's all. Wood
Well,
stumps.
I'm almost back on board with that.
However, not everyone has to be liberated.
No.
The central London space will be divided into two sections. Segregated nudity, apparently. One for the clothed and one for those choosing to fill their bellies in their birthday suits. The decor will be minimalist, with bamboo partitions and wood-hewn furniture. We have worked very hard to design a space where everything patrons interact with is bare and naked. Blech.
Yeah.
Although the possibility of spilling hot food in one's lap or being eye level with the wrong kind of sausages may not be appealing to everyone. There are plenty of people who are interested.
That's a bell ringer.
I just realized something. We went into hour 2 and never got a drinking word.
Oh, my bad.
We'll figure it out.
Still drinking.
Bunyadi.
Yeah.
As
If you drink and drive, you're an asshole. There's the legal disclaimer.
It's not our fault. As
Yeah.
of Wednesday morning, there were already more than 4,600 people on the wait list for this restaurant.
Oh, my
And
God.
That was last week.
How many fat, ugly people were there?
49.
4,599.
People you don't want to see naked for 1,000?
on every beach.
All of them, yes. There you go.
That people are always self-conscious at the beach. I'm like, don't worry. There is no way you're going to be the worst thing on the beach.
No, trust me.
There will be someone for you to sit next to, and
Right.
they will be the Carney Wilson
If they-
to your share every fucking
if
time.
they push you back in, then we got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. When the harpoon hits, just go with it.
I, for one, will be dining elsewhere.
Oh, well, I would.
And they're thanking me for it. They
Yeah.
actually sent me a gift certificate to some other places.
Oh.
They're like, please just don't show up here. Thanks. Clothed or unclothed.
Clothes, yeah.
We want to sell food,
I
sister.
didn't realize that. All right.
Remember, don't cook bacon naked.
Oh, and Aunt,
That's a
I love
good
it. That edible cutlery, I think it's one of the most fantastic things. So I can't wait
It
to
is,
look
but
at
remember
this.
we went through this with it's the first episode of Veep too. It's why I find it so funny because it was the lesbian
Oh,
straw
yes,
that
I was
dissolves.
laughing so hard
that
about
sometimes
that. Oh, yeah.
the edible cutlery can't hold up to hot food
Yeah.
or soups,
Right.
and it just dissolves, and all of a sudden you're like, well, how do I eat this?
No, I laughed my ass off. That was fantastic.
I need more wine
Yeah.
because of your Bukhari. Oh no,
I'm gonna go eat a
you
cocktail
gotta
too.
edit that out. 8:40 and 50
Booyah.
seconds.
I'm gonna.
Bunyadi.
We're gonna play the drinking disclaimer. Can you make it back?
Yeah.
All right, good for you. We're gonna play the drinking disclaimer
Thanks for
now.
listening, Aunt.
I'm slurring words and it's all right. So we'll be right back right after this from Al Perkins.
And now, a drink along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Oh,
Our word is bunyadi.
Bunyadi!
Keep your clothes on, people.
No.
Bunyadi.
Keep your
Ring your
clothes
bell
on.
out.
There you
Jeez,
go,
I
there
hate
you go.
those fucking bells.
There you go.
I hate those bells.
We found them on the street. So
Literally, you did.
we did.
You did.
All right, so I gotta transfer that link.
What link?
Thank you, Annette.
Can I
That's
go make it?
fantastic.
Can I go
Yeah.
refill my beverage
Yeah.
before my next story?
I'll do a news story if
Oh,
you'd
go,
like.
God! But I don't like missing your stories.
Well, that's okay. You'll be back. It'll take a minute.
Bunyadi.
Talk about something else, Bunyadi.
All right, Bunyadi. So we had great news the morning of Prince's untimely passing,
Mm-hmm.
that luckily we were spared just about all the racist, horrible comments that were coming because of it.
Yeah,
But it's kind of a follow-up to last week. Turns out the U.S. Treasury heard my
The
plea.
cash, right?
And they amended their ways. They changed their evil ways. But Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew on Wednesday announced the most sweeping and historically symbolic makeover of American currency in a century, proposing to replace the slave-holding Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill with Harriet Tubman, the former slave and abolitionist, and to add women and civil rights leaders to the $5 and $10 notes. So
Okay.
in the hubbub of Thursday's Purple Rain, we missed that the 5 and the 10 are also changing. Like, it's not just that Harriet
yeah.
Tubman is taking over the 20, it's that the $5 and $10 notes will be changing as well.
Okay.
Mr. Lew may have reneged on a commitment he made last year to make a woman the face of the $10 bill, opting instead to keep Alexander Hamilton, who is the father of the U.S. Federal Bank and the U.S. Treasury, and
is
now
currently
is star
appearing on Broadway.
hottest ticket on Broadway, to the delight of a fan base swollen with enthusiasm over a Broadway rap musical
Right.
based on the life of the first Treasury Secretary. But the broader remaking of the nation's paper currency, which President Obama welcomed on Wednesday, may well have captured a historical moment for multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multiracial nation moving conscientiously through the early years of a new century. So, the Tubman, an Afro-American and Union spy during the Civil War, would bump Jackson, a white man known as much for his persecution of Native Americans as for his war heroics and advocacy for the common man, on the back of the 20. So he doesn't leave; he just goes to the back of the 20 in some
Goes to the
reduced
back of the
imaging.
bus.
Yeah, along with the White House. So he'll be on there. There'll be a picture of the White House, a
Right.
picture of Andrew Jackson, who was War of 1812. He was a war hero, but the War of 1812. Tubman will be the first woman so honored on paper currency since Martha Washington's portrait briefly graced the $1 silver certificate in the late 19th century, which I did not know about. While Hamilton will remain on the 10 and Abraham Lincoln on the 5, images of women would be added to the back of both, in keeping with Mr. Lew's intent to bring to life the national monuments depicted there. The picture of the Treasury building on the back of the 10 would be replaced with a depiction of the 1913 March in support of women's right to vote that ended at the building, along with the portraits of 5 suffrage leaders: Lucretia Mott, Sojourner Truth, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Alice Paul, and Susan B. Anthony, who in more recent years was on an unpopular $1 coin until minting ceased. And now they have I don't know who's on the new $1 coin that you get anytime you buy like stamps or have to go use the light rail or
light
any
rail.
kind of public transit.
I don't know.
You get those dollar
Yeah.
coins. I feel like it's Sacagawea, but am I making that up? In my mind, it's Sacagawea.
It might be, and I can look that up in a second.
Now, here's my favorite. I mean, I enjoy the $10 bill with the suffragettes on that. Interesting topic of conversation because most people have never heard of any of those women besides Susan B. Anthony. And the one that I always...
No, absolutely true.
Yeah. The one that I always forget about is Sojourner Truth. Every time I hear her name, I'm like, who is she again? On the flip side of the $5 bill, the Lincoln Memorial would remain, but as the backdrop for the 1939 performance there of Marian Anderson, the African-American classical singer, after she was barred from singing at the segregated Constitution Hall nearby. Sharing space on the rear would be images of Eleanor Roosevelt, who arranged Anderson's Lincoln Memorial performance, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who in 1963 delivered his I Have a Dream speech from its steps. So I just think this is a beautiful tribute to so much culture and history, that not just what happened at the, you have the monument, but then what important things happened.
Right.
And you get to find out, as I didn't know, that the Women's Suffrage March ended at the Treasury building. Like,
Sure.
odd choice,
that.
but there you go. I had no idea. The final redesigns will be unveiled in 2020. The centennial of the 19th Amendment establishing women's suffrage will not go into wide circulation until later in the decade, starting with the new $10 note. The unexpectedly ambitious proposal reflects Mr. Lew's torturous attempt to expedite the process and win over critics who have lodged conflicting demands pitting mainly women's advocates against Hamiltonians newly empowered by the unlikely success of their hero story on Broadway. And when you find... the more you read about Andrew Jackson, the more horrible a human he was, even though he was a war hero. And you're like, that's kind of a slap in the face to a big part of our native population to have his ass on the 20. Maybe honor him. And I like the back of the bill for him. That's perfectly appropriate. You're still being honored.
Right.
I'm sure you did something nice for somebody. We just don't know about it.
We're not sure when that might have been. Sure.
Immediately, an online group called Women on 20s insisted that the women to be honored. Tubman was its choice, had to go on the more common $20 note, and that was gone. And we had talked about that just last week, that as soon as the movement came about, people were like, fuck you with the $10 bill.
Right.
We want the 20. We want the bill that you get at ATMs and stuff.
Sure.
So the rollout is...
well, and did you hear that everyone was like, just put her on the $2 bill?
Yeah, which is barely.
Bye, Jenny.
in circulation.
It's barely in circulation.
Oh,
if
you
it
mean
isn't.
the part you missed. I'm sorry, Jenny.
Yeah.
But on the View, they were talking about putting her the people were saying just put her on the $2 bill or put her. It's very much kind of a dismissive. Incredibly dismissive.
Right.
Yeah.
So not only do we get one woman on the 20, but then we get a whole host of women and people of different cultures and the cultural significance of these monuments in Washington, which, again, you can just piss and moan about it and yell at each other, or there's a thoughtful conversation to be had, which is what seems to be missing in America on just about any topic.
In general, right.
The problem is that Lou and Obama only have a few more months left in office. So this is one more reason to vote for Clinton, since she is now the Democratic nominee.
Yep.
Pretty much mathematically.
She is, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. But everybody agrees they'll go through California. Sure. So
when do you want me to show these pictures?
Oh, just when he's done with
when he's done?
Well, or you can go ahead and put it up there because it's just an addendum to his story?
This one is the 1999.
Right, which I saw that today. That's very funny to demonstrate inflation. That the $20, the 2000 party over oops out of time.
They want to put Prince on a $20 bill and call it 1999.
Now I think that picture is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, no, there's a more gorgeous picture than that one. It's this one. That one.
Oh, that's just less close up. Yeah.
But it's hot. It's still hot.
Oh, it is.
He's still sexy.
Yep. It's a
Even
novel.
on money, he's sexy.
Money. God
Making it rain.
A novel way to remember Prince.
And interesting, making it rain.
Making it rain,
would be very different.
And I'm sure you can fit a little purple thread in there.
I'm sure. I think you should.
So on the back of this,
it'll be the bill that was formerly known as a 20.
Yeah. The artist formerly known as the 20.
That's a valid point. Valid point.
Oh my God. And Wolf Blitzer, of course, was not briefed. He hadn't read his, because Prince wasn't on the death list. So, they keep up on bios of people that are about to die so they can, have some information.
Yes.
They read through.
Exactly.
That's not just a Mary Tyler Moore episode. That's a news thing. They had not read up on him. And so when they were trying to explain to him that for a while he went by a symbol and he was the artist for him, Wolf Blitzer was so out of the loop and so
Which is odd because Wolf usually as an older gentleman, he tries to keep up with all the current shit.
But he's just been on politics for so long, and it was an unexpected death.
Right.
And he thought that they were trying to say that Prince wasn't his real name, and he just kept hammering home. But his name was Prince Rogers Nelson. They're but he went by the Ankh symbol.
A symbol.
That's so funny. So
even on the Muppets, that was the irony of the Muppets.
That,
he walks in, and he's like, "I'm here in the bear." Whoever the bear.
Fozzie.
No, not Fozzie.
The artist formerly known as Fozzie.
No. The bear that was
Barrington.
The security bear. I forget his name. It's funny fucking. And he's like, Prince looks at the camera and he goes, because the bear goes, "What's your name?" And Prince is like, "This is gonna be fun," and he's like, "It's a symbol I can't describe." Blah blah blah. Let me look at the list. And the bear's like, "Look at the list." So then he goes through this whole thing, and the elevator opens, and Prince just buries himself in the elevator and goes to the show. But the funny thing is, it's like you can't pronounce it. There's no way.
Also, I really don't know what to do with you saying the Prince buried himself in the elevator, considering.
Sorry.
He was going with the bear theme.
I'm not sure what to do with that right now.
So he
stepped into the elevator.
We have breaking news.
We do.
We have breaking news.
How do we
breaking news?
How do we have it?
Where's our music?
Oh, mother, fuck you! I don't. Can you give me some sort of? I need a sign. I need some sort of a sign. Breaking news.
So former presidential candidate And retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson has
Awakened?
weighed in. Yeah. He woke up from a long winter's nap
Rip Van Carson.
and weighed in on the Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill.
Oh, okay. He was his sister, right?
He complained, yes, that adding the likeness of Harriet Tubman to the $20 bill would result in her becoming the new face of debt slavery.
Oh.
The effort to rush this through under the current Obama administration is nothing short of national disgrace. An empty gesture designed to mask a much more fundamental problem, the burgeoning U.S. debt and the declining significance of the U.S. dollar. Yeah, Ben, that's what we were going for.
That was breaking news brought to you by Al Perkins.
It's good stuff, Bunyadi.
After demonstrating that he knows how to use Wikipedia well enough to make an unwittingly strong case for honoring Tubman, Carson argued that she would be turning over in her grave if she knew she would be the new face of American debt slavery.
I don't like you anymore.
It just makes you want to kick this man in the teeth a
For
little bit.
those of you that are just listening and not watching, Marnie just opened a bag of chocolate-covered almonds.
Dark.
Fuck you,
Chocolate-covered
Marnie.
almonds.
Fuck you, and to the nth degree. I'm sorry about your beaver.
So-
But can pass
Wow.
that bag of your
Wow.
chocolate-covered almonds over
I'm not
here.
sure what to do
Don't
with
we
that.
all feel better that Ben
You have
Carson
chocolate-covered almonds?
has put his face on?
Well played.
Oh, I'm so glad because he matters.
Well played, Aaron. Did
What
the show
is
die
what
for
is
you?
this? What are these? What are the hell? Do I have a bowl? No, I don't have a bowl. What are these little joys? Where did you find these?
Dark chocolate
covered
almonds.
I read it. Shut up. What? How did you get these to
It's
get
really
here?
all of the name.
Costco.
Why?
Because they're yummy.
I don't like you anymore.
To torment you. All right, it's your turn for a story.
Nope.
I have tons of stories.
All right.
You love me.
I have pictures. Oh, look at these little nuggets of love.
Yeah, turbinado sugar and sea salt.
Your
Oh,
nuggets
there's
mean
sea
love.
salt and
Sea
joy.
salt.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you and love you and all that in the same.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
I'm not sure what to do with that.
Well, I want to tell you that this story starts out with not everybody saw the sign. Not everybody.
Okay.
Primarily because
saw the sign.
Primarily because somebody stole the
Opened up
signs.
my mind.
Yeah.
Nope, somebody stole them. A mayor in upstate New York is facing criminal charges for allegedly stealing 111 roadsides from the state's Department of Transportation, according to WKTV.com. New York State Police arrested Frank Morocco Monday on charges of misconduct and petty larceny. Well, I don't think we've ever had petty larceny.
Petty.
Petty. What's his P-T-I-T? Is that French?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Petty. Petty?
Petite.
Petty.
I would say petite.
It was a small larceny.
Yeah, I mean,
Petty larceny.
I've never known petty larceny to spell like that, but sure,
I would say
okay.
petty.
No.
According to the story, maybe it's European. I don't know. Fuck, who cares? Anyway, both charges are Class A misdemeanors according to CNYCentral.com. Here's a picture. This is his mugshot according to that. The signs were added later. Morocco, 60, has served as the mayor of Frankfurt Village since 2004 and has worked as a sign shop foreman for the state's Department of Transportation since 2001. Police started investigating Morocco in July of 2015, a little over a year ago, after getting a tip from someone in the town that New York State Police spokesman Jack Keller told the Huffington Post that they said that he took 111 road signs made at the shop and gave them to the Village of Frankfurt Street Department. They were a variety of signs, including yield and stop signs, Keller told Huffington Post. A village usually has to apply to get these signs and then pay a fee to get the signs. Well, apparently he just stole them. I don't know why the fuck he stole them. Maybe he's on the heroin.
Yeah.
He could be.
He could be, but he just stole.
He's the right demographic.
He's a white guy who stole road signs for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I'm with Jenny. Maybe he was just selling them. Yeah.
Exactly.
All eBay.
Because you always have to, like, when you look at signs, like, there's the one that looks like it means no butt fucking, or the one that says butt fucking's okay.
Do not enter.
Because the one arrow is bent over, and then touching its toes, the other arrow's like bent up against it, so you can
it's not in this picture.
No, but
this
the
guy's
pizza
shoveling
oven
shit.
one. The pizza oven one is
Pizza oven. All right.
That's funny.
To the immediate right of the picture, the pizza oven shoveling sign. Okay.
it's allowed right here.
Yep. I like it.
I
You
realize
can brick oven your pizza here.
Gotcha. And for I'm just going to show the prints on the 20 again.
There you
Just
go.
show them. There you go.
It's
All
the
right.
1999.
I've done a little investigative journalism.
You did?
Petty larceny is spelled petite. I have never in my life known that. I guess I will have to larcen more people to find out.
Small larceny.
I would like to do some
larceny.
small larceny.
Yep. I think you have.
I may have already.
I think you have,
right.
as a matter of fact.
Continue on. Marnie Ryer.
Well.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Look at the time.
What?
What's happening?
Let's do a crossover.
All right.
Bunyadi.
You know why? There's nothing else in the show has gone right so far.
No, I
All
like
right,
it.
we're going to let Sue Ellen take this one.
Is that
You want
me?
me
Yeah.
to go ahead?
Is that me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Go ahead, Sue Ellen.
You Sue Ellen'd yourself.
I didn't shoot JR.
Neither did she.
Neither did she.
That's a good point.
She was too drunk to aim the gun to the right person.
Bunyadi.
I'm going to delete this picture, delete this shot. Maybe I should. All right. It's a good thing that I am here.
Yep.
I'm queer. Get over it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, heaven's sakes alive. Boys and girls, what we're going to do is we're going to do a crossover. There we go. There's your audio. There's your audio.
There you go, Sue Ellen.
Motherfucker. I don't know what happened. I may be drunk, but I'm still running this show. Anyway, welcome to Marnie Ryer, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, this is a sweet story. And odd.
Your nuts are lovely.
Wow. I've heard that before. Thank you. Bunyani. Former Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Harris Wofford announced Sunday that he's marrying a man 50 years his junior. Almost 20
50?
years. Almost 20 years after his wife died. Wofford is a Democrat who was also a top advisor to JFK and Martin Luther King Jr. He announced his marriage to Matthew Charlton in an op-ed piece.
Okay.
Too often, our society seeks to label people by pinning them on the wall, straight, gay, or in between. I don't categorize myself based on gender of those I love. I had a half century of marriage with a wonderful woman, and now am lucky for a second time to have found happiness. Wofford's wife, Claire, died in 1996 after battling acute leukemia. He wrote of their close bond and the balance between him, the romantic, and her, a realist. I assumed that I was too old to seek or expect another romance. But 5 years later, standing on a beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I sensed a creative hour and did not want to miss it. Wofford, 75 at the time, wrote of meeting Charlton, then 25, on the beach. We both felt an immediate spark, and as time went on, we realized that our bond had grown into love.
Can I pause you for just a fucking minute?
Yep.
75
And
20.
Yeah.
And 20. That's what, like a 50
50
year span?
years, yeah.
For those of you keeping score at home, I'll be 47 in September.
So your true love has not been born yet. No. There's still time.
What in the fuck is wrong?
A lot.
I've been single for 15 goddamn years. Huh?
Well,
You're not standing on that beach in Florida. Lots of weird shit.
I'm
happens
never
in
going to
Florida.
stand on a beach in Florida.
Well,
hey, there's
there you have it.
there's someone 50
Oh,
years
now
younger
it's
than you.
my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Now I'm to blame.
My God.
Always blaming the victim.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I just thought that was very interesting. The fact, as far as a senator who just kind of came out and said, "Yeah, I'm getting married." So
Way to wait till 90.
right.
What he
I'm
was
like,
missing
"Good."
from his marriage was dick.
Yeah. That seems clear.
He just answer the question,
but now,
Claire.
but now we're at 25 goes into 90. A hell of a lot more than 90 goes into 25.
Thank you, Bette Midler. Thank you very much.
It all makes sense now.
Bunyani, I like that. Bunyani.
Now, I'd also like to know what the net worth of the 90-year-old gentleman is, because I'm pretty sure
you
that
guys
a
are taking a very sweet story and making it
hookers
something-
go into 90 a lot more
Yeah.
if there's some sort of a
Stipend,
payoff.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So are we seeing this as like a gay Anna Nicole Smith kind
Oh,
of thing?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, Grandpa probably likes the dick, but Junior might be just after the dollar.
mean,
He
the
might
only
be looking for Prince on the 1999 bill.
The only thing I'm looking for that's 90 years old is on eBay, and it's something that I want to buy for an investment. Oddly, same
And he's
thing.
happy to hear that.
Look, it's a picture of
Oh, a picture, good.
It's a picture of Wolford and his grandson. Oh, I mean his husband.
Wait a minute.
Well, he's well preserved for 90.
He is. He looks good.
Wait,
No,
wait.
he's not 90. He's 75 and 25,
He's
right?
90 now.
90
Net.
now?
So
Yes.
that's 40? 40 looks good.
Wait, give me, wait, hang on, hold,
What?
fuck,
What?
wait,
What's
hold
happening?
on.
Do you want me to send this to you?
No, I just
Huh.
want names. Give me a name. Give me a name.
Sue Ellen's going to have a stroke over here.
Wolford.
Why am I-
Wooford.
WOOL?
WOOF.
Jeez, oh, Wooford.
No, no, my bad. It's just one O. I don't want to talk about it any further.
Wolford?
Yeah, Wolford. WOFFORD.
Jesus Christ. This keyboard is not conforming.
Spelling is hard.
Yes.
And
Oh my God, there it is.
I'm so with you, Harrison.
Stand by.
You're so cynical.
Jesus.
cynical.
Oh. That guy's 25?
No, he's
That
not
guy's
anymore.
40 now.
Now, they've been together since he was but a child. Now he's almost our age. And he's still putting it to the man.
room is
oh
90.
God, you gotta hope the crypt keeper's not sticking it in him. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I grab him.
The finger of death was up in me last night.
And if he is,
That's how he describes a date.
So what? I like that his marriage.
Hang on.
I'm glad
He
they're
went
happy.
public in an essay called "Finding Love Again" with a man.
So,
I like it.
So wait. So
Yeah.
the gentleman on the right
Is
is,
the former senator
Looks good for 90.
Harris Wolford,
and the gentleman in the red shirt is how old at this point?
40 now.
Matthew Charlton.
All right, now after 15 years and it's a beach photo, I believe they're in love. I've said some shitty things.
What?
See, thank you.
Most of them are about them.
They're in love.
Well, look
What
at
do
he's
you
a
mean?
Prince fan, and the other one seems to like
So
that
now
dog.
I do have a question though, because there's something about what I just read that's like, well, they're going to be wedding at Harris Wolford's Foggy Bottom apartment. I'm a little troubled
All right.
right now.
That's the way to kill the headline.
Yeah.
90-year-old man gets
But
married in a foggy bottom.
He got foggy bottomed. What the fuck? Apparently,
That's what it's called when a 90-year-old sticks the death finger up in you.
well, and dinner.
I'm back
will,
to saying shitty things about a lovely gay couple
dinner is to follow at a neighborhood Italian restaurant.
at 3 p.m.
Yes.
Wolford has to-
By the way, Blue Plate Special serves at 5.
Oh,
Yogurt's going to be available.
great. That's
Oh,
just
that
great.
was 40 years ago when they used to have a show.
Her name was Lola.
All right, there. He does look really good for 90, though. Like I look
He
worse
does,
than that.
but
and
I
I'm-
gotta tell you, the
So
whole
again,
Foggy
wait,
Bottom is too much
this
for me.
this picture, he's 90 in the picture?
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's their wedding picture. She wore a dog.
How do,
Right.
At the
does that
Foggy-
mean that there's hope for me?
at the Foggy Bottom?
I don't
This is Wolford in the Foggy Bottom apartment.
I just found the name of the show.
At the Foggy Bottom. Well, at least she gave you directions.
The
It's like a Scooby-Doo episode. The 90-year-old man in the
Right.
Foggy Bottom.
Show number 259 is now entitled
I would've got
Foggy
away with
Bottom. Jenny, this is better than Soggy Bottom. Well,
Depends.
Well, you don't
if you
know.
rinse them off, it still fits.
Yeah.
What does a 90-year-old's ass smell like? Depends. Jenny, I didn't feel like they got your joke, so I had to sell it for you. It's always good when a fourth grade joke can still be sold.
Foggy Bottom in my wine
Don't ruin my wine.
makes me feel happy.
Tiny bubbles.
Makes me
I
feel
enjoy it.
fine.
Is he still alive or is he dead?
He's real dead.
Don Ho's dead.
Oh, no. Don Ho, no.
Don
I
Ho's
was
alive?
thinking of Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
No, Tiny Jim's dead. Is Don Ho dead?
Don Ho, dead or alive?
Stand by, people. We're gonna look this up.
Breaking news.
Don Ho may be dead. I think he died. I think he's dead.
I feel like he died
Like 5 years ago.
4.
Whatever.
Died April 2007.
Oh my God!
It's been a couple minutes.
No. Good call.
Still dead. Bubbles still flowing.
Yep. I like
Jesus Christ.
that.
Jesus Maria.
Hey.
All right. Grandpa, it's up to you. Sue Ellen?
Why are you so? Why? All right. Do I have a picture? Hang on. Do I have a picture for this? Nope. I have a picture.
Makes me feel fine.
The ejaculation frequency.
The ejaculation from a soggy bottom.
I didn't know what was going to lead me into the story, so I'm
How did
terribly
God
sorry.
create
The
swampland?
ejaculate of the Foggy Bottom.
Makes for good swampland.
I feel
Sounds
like I
like a
need
new
to.
Edgar Allan
I
Poe
feel like I
book.
need to do this
Still
in the
dead.
voice of Bill Curtis, who is an esteemed correspondent, anchorman.
After this show, I'm going to have a detachable shower head because I need to rinse off different places.
There's one in that shower right there. This is real news, ladies and gentlemen.
Breaking news.
We're cutting edge here at Q Talk America.
Punjabi.
I think I've been overserved.
a little bit. I helped.
I served.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
served myself.
Nope.
I like that I'm getting text messages from clients. Really? I'm wasted. I'm not going to answer you. Ejaculation frequency could be a sign of overall health. My God. Men who ejaculate often may have a lower risk of prostate cancer than their peers who don't do it as frequently, a U.S. study suggests. Researchers followed about 32,000 men starting in 1992 when they were in their 20s and continuing through 2010. During this period, almost 4,000 of the men were diagnosed with prostate cancer who apparently didn't beat off enough. Men who ejaculated
Ted Cruz.
Men who ejaculated at least 21 times a month in their 20s were 19% less likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer than men who ejaculated no more than 7 times a month, the study found. Men who ejaculated more often in their 40s were 22% less likely to get prostate cancer diagnosis. Quote, ejaculation frequency is, to some extent, a measure of overall health status that men at the very low end of ejaculation, 0 to 3 times per month, were more likely to have other medical problems and
Like
die
no hands, right?
and die prematurely from causes other than prostate cancer, said lead study author Jennifer Ryder. Funny her name was Ryder.
Yeah.
Who did the analysis while working at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health in Boston.
And masturbatory studies.
Right. While our findings should be confirmed in studies that evaluate the potential biological mechanisms underlying the observed associations, I'm surprised I can say these words too right now. I just want to say it. The results of our study suggest that ejaculation and safe sexual activity throughout adulthood could be a beneficial strategy for reducing the risk of prostate cancer. Ryder, now a Boston University, added by email.
You are making me.
Yeah.
Fuck you. To understand the connection between the ejaculation frequency and cancer, Ryder and colleagues reviewed data from questionnaires men completed about sexual health and examined medical records and lab tests to verify which participants were diagnosed with prostate tumors. During the study period, there were 192 cases of prostate cancer among men who ejaculated no more than 3 times a month. There were 1,041 cases with 4 to 7 ejaculations a month, and 1,509 cases with 8 to 12 monthly ejaculations. Another 807 cases with 13 to 20 a month, and 290 with at least 21 monthly ejaculations. I'm exhausted from trying to figure this out.
Just from ejaculating.
So what I would just say from this story is, keep coming. Just keep coming. Now, unfortunately, I felt bad. I felt bad because I felt. I'll read this later.
Drew said, "Fine, I'll beat off, twist my arm," and I said, "I want to live." Drew screamed as he ejaculated for the 9th time this week.
No.
All of a sudden, he's Susan Hayward with a fleshlight.
And I cried union. No. Unfortunately, this study does not go into the female ejaculate issue. So I don't know.
Because they don't have prostate, so you can imagine.
But still, I figure there's some health gain.
But one wonders, on a semi-serious note.
I think it's good for cardio.
I sounded like Jane Curtin there. When I listen back, I hope it really does. Because it came through like that.
Thank you, Jane Curtin.
You ignorant slut.
You ignorant slut.
Yeah.
Ignorant slut, yes.
But one does wonder, is the
Never
reason that you
mind.
can't jack off because there's something wrong with your prostate? Or is like, which
Or
is
overall.
oh my God, Scooby.
Or your overall health. I don't know. What happened?
Whiskey dick prevents you from enjoying your own company.
Poppers not included.
Bobby, yeah.
Ba, ba, ba.
I love that you went nonverbal. We haven't done that since Moonshine.
Hey, I don't know what cocktail this is.
I don't either.
It's
a
whiskey,
second.
darling. We drink it with water.
I know. That's fantastic.
Crown Royal and 7.
That is
I'm
fantastic.
going to have diabetes and whiskey dick. Both of them.
Well, the next time somebody walks in on me masturbating, I'm saving my own life. Hello, fuck.
Now, according to this, sexual activity can have some negative health consequences, such as acquiring
there's a downside.
a sexually
it
transmitted
goes down.
Side
infection.
effects
Yeah.
include
Frequent ejaculation through sex or masturbation possibly results from other factors that contribute to good health.
Hairy
However,
palms.
blindness.
such as healthy diet and normal weight, which might also lower the risk of cancer.
Ah,
See,
there's always something.
I feel like there's a chicken and an
Yeah.
egg here.
yeah.
So beat off, be healthy, enjoy life.
There you go. Wise words.
Wise.
yeah. Well played, sir.
I'm eating the last of your nuts over here.
No, there's like a
Pass the
7-pound
nuts.
bag
No,
over here.
The last that I have.
Yeah, pass the nuts.
No, I'm good.
I don't know. You want the nuts.
It has something called turbinado sugar.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Delicious.
How do you find these things?
You shop.
Oddly.
What section of Kirkland/Costco do you find these
In the
chocolate,
snacks.
dark chocolate covered almonds?
Costco's
with
prices are going up.
I read that report. $5 to $10 a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad in the
No.
grand scheme of things.
But you realize
In the grand scheme.
those people are gonna be. Kevin Dasso's gonna be fucking thrilled.
You got to
Oh,
make it
yeah.
up in toilet paper.
I have some right there.
But
Margarita story.
Yeah. Okay. So there was now it's doing the circle thing. It hates me here at your house.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think so. So there was this guy, and he got scary mad when the police told him to stop having sex in public pools.
I said to them, "Calm down."
Right. They called me. I said, "It's just Clayton. It's fine. It'll be fine." If sooner or later I'll be able to read the story, if it would stop. It hates me. That's all. Forgive me. There we go. Oh yeah, and he's not a cutie either. So this guy, he Austin Misiak, 28, is charged with lewd exhibition and assault. Now, quite frankly, why isn't that the same as Bunyadi? Like he's naked. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But he dove into trouble in those pools. He was allegedly having sex with an unnamed woman in a community pool when observers asked him to stop and reminded him the kids were present.
Oh.
Hello. Misiak, 28, flew into a rage and began chasing children while trying to hit them.
What does a rage look like? Is it like this?
Yes.
It's
I'd say there's
similar.
a penis flapping if he was recently trying to copulate.
Well, you're gonna
Elephantitis.
be shocked, but are you ready?
Florida.
I am.
Florida.
Oskaloosa or Okaloosa Sheriff's Office says, but he eventually
However you
got
identify.
I do appreciate the puns in this because he eventually got decked. A 15-year-old defending his girlfriend punched him twice. The drama unfolded Saturday evening at an apartment complex in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Misiak, said to be drunk in an arrest report.
No.
Get out of here. Then began yelling at a man for no reason. The man walked away out of fear that he was going to be struck. Then the 6'1", 220-pound Misiak turned his attention toward a 15-year-old girl who told him to stop chasing the children. Stop chasing the children, she said.
I read the book.
Oh, okay, good.
I did the musical in high school.
He was appearing ready to attack her when the girl's boyfriend knocked his ass out. These are my words. Misiak was charged with felony lewd exhibition and misdemeanor assault. The suspect's explanation in the report for all these accusations said, nothing happened.
Yeah, it's
just nothing happened. So, you got to look at Florida and think, put your clothes on.
It's the penis of America.
It's the penis of America.
That restaurant's not open yet. Clothes on.
That's where Foggy Bottom might be.
And
I think that's where Foggy Bottom is. But can you imagine you're in a pool in an apartment complex and you've got over here,
everybody knows if you're going to have sex in a community pool, you do it after hours when it's closed with a discreet beach towel to cover up, I don't know, something.
Something.
Because everybody thinks that beach towel is covering up something. It's not.
No, not even a little
But
bit.
we've all done it.
Absolutely.
We've all tried to fight cancer in the community pool.
Yes, but for heaven's sake, you're exactly right. Maybe not at 2 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, maybe not
What is
prime
wrong
time.
with
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
Because that makes you...
When it turns into Skinamax, it's okay to go outside and have sex.
I firmly
Cinemax, no. Skinamax, yes. There's your guidelines.
I firmly believe that this gentleman, if he is doing that in the pool, then it shouldn't be about him hitting anyone or doing anything else. How is that not? You pee outside and you become a predator.
Yeah.
How is that not?
Yeah, I got nothing. What happened with the lady friend?
Oh, they don't say anything about her. They don't give us any information. I'm assuming she was paid.
He's a good lady with the Prince 20.
Yes, I'm assuming she was paid. Right, with the 1999. and they've paid to keep her quiet. They've paid very much to keep her quiet. There's also an old lady who struggled with the absolute best of everything and somehow reached 90. Yes, the Lady of Windsor.
The Lady
Reached
Windsor.
90 years old. Despite having to contend with the absolute best of everything in her entire life, she was able to reach 90. Elizabeth Windsor has confounded critics who seem stunned.
Wait, Elizabeth Windsor is the Queen of England.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, Betty Windsor, I know her.
I know you know who that is.
She confounded critics who seem stunned that she has managed to reach the age of 90, something only 500,000 people in the UK somehow managed to do. Royal fan Simon Williams told us, living to the ripe old age of 90 isn't easy, and she should be commended for her steadfast conviction in enjoying the very best treatment the human race has to offer. She has to live in a palace, deal with servants, eat only the best food, be seen only by the best doctors. I really don't know how she does it. It's almost like she let the stress of paying the mortgage on those places just wash over her. She's a credit to the nation.
And a little bit of a debt.
Yeah, yes. You'd never guess she raised 4 kids, would you? Running around after that number of children can take its toll, but not on
there's
her.
a daughter. Mm-hmm. Anne?
Anne.
Yeah, Margaret's the sister, Anne's the daughter, right?
She's also had one job her entire life, which is amazing in this day and age, what with Monster.com and recruitment consultants. You think there's no loyalty to your employer in modern society, but she's remained our queen despite what I'm sure were lots of other lucrative offers. Oh, and the pubs are staying open late to celebrate. Love her to bits.
I absolutely love that the pubs don't even fucking close. At least according to the flight attendants from British Air who used to scream at us, "Radio bars close."
Well, if there are listeners from the very beginning that remember when the Death Den started, you put Betty Windsor on there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Casual.
right away.
Or Prince Philip. They were interchangeable.
Or Prince Philip, they
Because
were,
goddamn it,
yeah.
he's still alive. And you know, he drove. He
the-
drove. Did you catch the funny part of
No.
the story?
Oh, that was hysterical.
Because the Saudi royal family didn't meet Obama because the Saudis are mad at us. I don't know. Who knows fucking know why
Something, yeah.
this week. But the Saudis are mad at us. So they sent like a local governor. It's still a royal, but he was a local governor to meet Obama. And it was kind of a slap in the face that they sent such a low-ranking member of the Saudi royal family and or the government to meet the Obamas.
Okay.
So Betty Windsor showed up at the helipad. And she walked out James Bond style and met Obama in the helipad, which was, I think it was the first time she'd ever
Walk that far?
No, I mean, she'd been on the helicopter before,
Oh.
but it was the first time I think she'd ever greeted someone on the helipad. And then Prince Philip, casual racist,
Bunyadi.
so it kind of was a good thing that I think he thought he was playing Driving Miss Daisy in reverse. He drove them to the next place.
Oh my God, that's
I am
very
not
funny.
getting in a car with Grandpa over
No.
here because he's had like 3 strokes this year.
Yes.
The guy's Prince Winterbatten is almost dead.
Well, I'm almost wondering if, like, the Secret Service. I think the Secret Service was like controlling
right.
it.
They
were
droning.
like,
They
yeah,
were droning it in.
It was a car drone.
It was a car drone,
It
right?
had to have been, because there's no way we're gonna let him get
he
in the
thinks
car.
he drives that car. It's hysterical.
does.
Watch.
It's an RC car.
He puts his keys in it and everything.
It's an RC car.
As we're driving, it's like
The engine was removed in 1936 by the Nazis. We
By the
never put it
Nazis,
back.
right.
We
Exactly.
never put it back because they were friends.
Sure.
Well, they knew each other. Casual.
Casual reason.
Bunyani. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, we're so late on time.
good
I'm going to do
stuff.
one more.
Winterbottom. No, what is his name?
Foggy Bottom.
No, Prince Philip. What's his last
Soggy
name?
Bottom. What? What?
Because they're from the House of Windsor, but he's like
Prince-
Philip is like Windbottom,
Who
Windbotham.
fucking knows?
Wiggle Bottom.
Right. Right.
I am Prince Philip Wiggle Bottom.
That's him. That's him.
I like it.
I'm going to do the last story of the headlines, and then we're going to go right into into entertainment because I know you've got a lot, and we're tight on time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We may have
I'm
an
still
hour.
awake. Last week I was like struggling to stay awake at 9:24. I'm ready to go.
Oh no, I've already got an after party planned for you and I. So just letting you know. Hope you feel good.
boy.
Well, we'd like to know if he does windows as well. But however, an emergency medical technician in Lincoln, California, not only helped save the life of an 87-year-old man, he prevented the man's lawn from also looking shabby. The man who has asked not to be identified passed on Saturday while doing yard work, according to his son. How did he ask to not be identified after he already
Right.
God, who wrote this
He
story?
had something written down.
Dad has problems feeling faint in the past, Dinsley told Huffington Post. Neighbors who witnessed the incident notified his wife and called for an ambulance. Quote, I live close by, about 5 minutes away, and when I got there, the ambulance was there, and my dad was hooked up to an EKG, and they were monitoring his vitals, Dinsley said. They also encouraged him to go to the hospital, but he refused further treatment. Dinsley and his family took Dad inside the house, sat him down, and attempted to convince him to go to the hospital. Suddenly, I heard a lawnmower, he said. Now, when they heard the lawnmower, what they did was they looked out and they saw this EMT mowing the lawn. One of the EMTs, later identified as Chris Spires, was mowing their own lawn. I went out and said, you don't have to do this, but he said, I checked with dispatch, and we don't have any pressing calls, so I offered to mow the lawn. Spires told Dinsley his partner was putting away the gurney, and he said it was a one-man job needed to mow the lawn. He basically suggested that I had to do something like punch him to get him to stop. Dinsley laughed and said then he asked where to put the lawnmower when he was done. Dinsley posted a photo of Spires mowing the lawn, and it has since gone viral, receiving more than 10,000 likes. Spires didn't want to be identified, telling Dinsley that he just wanted to do something nice. However, his employer, American Metal Response, ratted him out on the Huffington Post. Because that's nice. Your employer rats you out.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
You're the asshole mowing the lawn for a guy who may or may not have died. Spires did not respond to Huffington Post inquiries, but his LinkedIn page described his goals like this. He wants to provide efficient life care to all ill and injured people throughout his community while working in tandem with other local emergency service personnel to achieve the best possible outcome for patients. It doesn't say anything about lawns, however.
But that is a nice story.
As for Dinsley's dad, we did convince him to be looked at. Dinsley said, my niece, his granddaughter, is an anesthesiologist and a respiratory specialist, and she determined he wasn't getting sufficient oxygen and was when he was pushing the lawnmower, and that caused him to faint. So there's good news, though. Dinsley thinks he's convinced the old man to let others to do his lawn work from now on. So
that's very good.
But I think that's very cute that the EMT did the lawn, helped him out.
I feel like if you were an EMT, that would be you.
I wouldn't use that lawnmower.
No, you would not. But you'd be able to, and
Yeah.
you'd probably fix it and spruce it up and clean it up along the way.
Sure, I would.
I saw that story and thought of you too.
I did too.
I like the fact that
Yeah.
you think of me when you think of these
Yeah.
things.
So
very nice.
Mountbatten is Prince Philip's last name. He adopted it from his German grandparents.
Soggy batten.
Soggy Batten.
Soggy Batten.
But Guter Saxon Coburg is there's other names he goes by.
Nicely done.
What was it? Gutter Saxon Coburg.
I hope it's Guter. I hope they have the good sense to
Are you ready for a segment
sure,
that might
why
involve
not?
you? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Al Perkins!
Briefly. We have updates on NBC's live musical. Amy Schumer is back. Please set your watches accordingly. We have Team Michael versus Team Kelly stories. And then we have a story that there's a link a little while ago about female sports writers and having to read mean tweets.
Can I drink this?
Yeah, go ahead. Bitter snapper. What was that word?
Whippersnapper. Beaver shotter.
Bitter bottom.
Bunyani.
What is it? Cheese and rice.
So we'd have to get the video ready, and I don't think Sue Ellen's up to it.
What? Video for what?
Plus, it got to us late. This is also
A late
breaking news.
breaker.
Late breaker.
Can you send me the text via Facebook Messenger? I can get there.
Well, the ad is you can click on the link.
It's not on this screen. It's on. I have multiple
okay.
screens.
All right.
Send it to me in the Facebook and the
It is on
mountain button, whatever the fuck you're doing.
All right.
Why am I Sue Ellen all of a sudden? Because she's wasted on the show.
I can't think why.
She drinks a lot.
It's a mystery. But somehow it all turns out okay. In the
I
end.
did not shoot J.R. Ewing.
Neither did she. Can't stress it
No,
enough.
it was a dream. I know. But Bobby in the shower.
Even in the dream, she didn't.
Dream. No, she didn't.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
No. Nope.
All right, there you go.
Oh.
There, I just said.
Oh my God! Look at this.
All right, so
Magical.
in this whole mean tweets era, it's been going around.
Got a video here? I gotta find a video.
And there are mean tweets going around, and women sportscasters have been getting a really tough time lately, and it's kind of getting overlooked. And it happened at the Super Bowl, and it happened with.
It's 4 minutes long. We're not playing.
No. I put it up there for everyone to watch at your leisure. The
all right.
gist of it is, if you think you've been exposed to the most vile behavior the internet has to offer, you need to spend more time browsing replies to female sports journalists. From creepy flirting to reprehensible, incessant threats of rape and abuse.
Or this show.
Yeah, many women covering sports are targeted daily with disgusting comments that no one would ever say out loud. Because it's often directed at the journalist through Twitter replies, seen by few except the women themselves, most sports fans never see the extent of the depravity. Now the team behind the podcast, Just Not Sports, has created a video to help bring the issue to light. The video, titled #MoreThanMean, takes the tried and true approach of having people read mean tweets. Except this time, instead of celebrating reading mean tweets about themselves, each man reads other people's tweets aimed at the women sitting across from him.
Oh.
And it's disturbing.
That's interesting as hell.
Quickly, the men realize the comments about sports writer Sarah Spain and Julie DeCaro aren't just bad, they're disturbing, vile, and gleefully violent. In reading the statements out loud to women journalists, guys are forced to experience, sometimes for the first time, the shocking online harassment happening in women's sports day in and day out. The Just Not Sports team wrote in a blog post about the project, "It serves as proof most sports fans would never say these things to another person, so we shouldn't type this garbage either." The video was filmed and edited by One Tree Forest Films, a Chicago-based production company, and directed by Chad Cooper. It is really worth watching. It is because... Like we always say, like, go to the third comment of any page.
Sure.
And I have a Republican friend that will put me to, like, oh, here's the truth about Hillary Clinton. And he'll send me to this page And then I'll just send him back. I'll just like screenshot the comments below it and be like, "This is why I can't take this news source seriously because this is who this is aimed at. Look at
Right.
don't tell me that this isn't a racist page when these are the first 3 comments on the page." And he always has no comeback for that. But now say that out loud to your wife. Go up to your wife, or better yet, because the ones are usually about Obama. Go up to someone in the street, just pick someone, and say that stuff to their face. Like, just start saying it.
It's racist. It's hate.
Right,
You're right.
And see where you get. But so to have these sports fans read this to women, and it's stuff that they probably have typed some version of, maybe
Right.
not to the. But when you get to comment number 4 on any topic now, it's just abusive, and it really doesn't matter. I'd like to pretend that like more left-leaning people say things, but if you read like what the Bernie people are saying about Hillary, what the Hillary people are saying about Bernie, it's vile. Like, it really is ugly from both sides. Like, no one comes out unscathed in these stories. But this is such a good idea with this whole like reading mean tweets to like let people know like this is what you're saying about another like this does not go unnoticed. Like this doesn't just land in the dark and no one sees it. Like, it's hateful. So if you get a chance, let me do the hashtag again. It's called More Than Mean. Hashtag More Than Mean by David Greiner. It's 4 minutes long and it's disturbing. I saw that maybe yesterday. I don't know, either this morning or yesterday. And then Aaron, because we were having some kind of psychic moment, Aaron sent it here today because I was like,
thank you for that.
So disturbing. And now we're going to go about last week's story we had about another update. God, we're so on the pulse.
We are.
Michael Strahan, hottie, made his decision to leave live with Kelly and Michael. And Kelly Ripa was justifiably upset that the television show that she is co-host of and
Emmy Award winning, right?
Yeah.
Her livelihood
was being put on the line, and decisions were being made without her
involvement.
Any involvement. She was told 20 minutes before airtime that now she was going to have to do a series of co-hosts and get a new dynamic together and put together a whole new show with a whole new person.
Challenge, a huge challenge.
And
I've tried for 4 years to replace all of you, and I haven't been able to do that.
Well,
Not yet.
the one chair keeps changing. The rest of us, God damn it, we stick.
Yeah, you're stuck with us.
Can I get a hot black guy to sit there for a minute?
That whole never let go thing. Well, we're not putting up with that.
That's right. Not gonna happen.
You're not gonna Leo our asses into the cold water. Fuck you.
Jack.
So one of the really shitty things, and speaking of mean things that people say about women, was when Kelly said, "I'm gonna take a few days off and process this, you motherfuckers." ABC.
Yeah.
So she took her days off, and all of a sudden she was a diva. She was hard to work with, and it just became an instantly anti-woman rant. Like, she's half this show. She's got a vested interest in this for now, 15, 16 years?
Right, because she did 10 years with Regis, if I'm not mistaken.
Who also left without any warning, too.
That's right,
She wasn't
that's
involved
right.
in that decision either, which she was very vocal about being mad about.
I did not realize that.
Because she might have wanted to leave, too.
Sure.
Like, there was, like, can we end the show then? Like, is this up in the air? Like, can I go be with my, you know what I mean? Like, is there an opportunity for me to do something else? She's been employed by ABC, she said, for 25 years this morning.
Okay.
I forget how long she was on All My Children.
26 years, yeah.
I
met her husband at
and I didn't
ABC.
even think about that. The fact that she, pre-existing live, she was on the soap opera.
Yeah, ABC. So her ass has been owned by ABC for a long time. So they could, a courtesy phone call's not.
And where did Hope and Faith? Was that NBC?
It was ABC Friday. TGI
That was
Friday.
ABC. All right.
That was the tail end of TGI Friday.
So the sitcom she was on, Hope and Faith, was also ABC.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
she's been up the mouse's ass for years. So it was kind of funny to see that.
I didn't expect that, but okay, thank you.
Up the mouse's bunyani? What do you want to hear?
No, I just didn't expect there to be a mouse reference.
Well, you work for. They all talk about the
It's all
mouse.
about the
No, I know.
bunyani.
I worked for Disney. I understand. I get
But
it.
ABC is the mouse house.
And if
They call it
you
all the time.
disrespect the mouse, they lose their fucking mind, and the people in the cult were like, "Oh, no!"
Yeah, oh, that is some
They
Kool-Aid drinking
lose
there.
their right. I feel like Jim Jones should have been there.
Yeah, so she took a stance, and luckily, in a rare moment for American to not to like do the right thing, they supported. It was very anti-ABC and very pro her. Like, this is her livelihood. Yes, you owe her an explanation, and there should be some respect for the workforce as part of the creative team. Like, you don't blind somebody 20 minutes before they go on air. Like, GMA's the cash cow, but obviously Regis and Kelly or Kathy Lee or Michael or any of the other names they put. This show's been going on since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a moneymaker, or they
Sure.
would have canceled it 25 years ago.
Absolutely.
So it was very nice to see them come out together, and that the even though the two of them allegedly don't really like each other all
Which
that
I've
much.
never heard about until recently.
Until this.
No, it's been around for a little bit that they
'Cause
weren't
they play it off well.
They play it off well, but they're not.
So do we.
But not particularly close. But
She's
she's busy. He's busy. They spend an hour a day together, and that might be like, all right, catch you later.
All right. Sure.
She's got 3 kids and a husband. He works in LA for NFL sports.
And by the way, a beautiful husband.
A beautiful husband. There's no getting around it. She works a beautiful man. She fucks a beautiful man. She's living my dream.
Right.
It's kind of like what's her butt and someone to watch over me.
By the way, he's aging better than she is, just to let you know.
But she's working harder than he is, too.
Doesn't
he takes
matter.
a part-time job every 10 years.
Don't care. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Bunyani. Please enjoy a drink. I'm out of wine. I'm about to hit Sue Ellen
why
up
don't
for a
you
drink.
all of a sudden it
suck on
changed
the
it.
that if you like to.
I'm about to distract Sue Ellen and steal some of her liquor.
Enjoy part of that.
Earlier, but
I
it's
can't.
Bunyani.
I can't. What do you think? What do you think? Is it okay?
The Naked Restaurant in
Atta girl.
in
Atta
London.
girl.
I was raised on whiskey. It's literally mother's milk.
Chocolate-covered almonds.
Oh, you want your chocolate covered
please.
almonds?
Yep.
Give her almonds.
Dark chocolate covered almonds. So I mean, it was
I need the
a
nuts.
fun story that it started off kind of being like anti Kelly, and then eventually they made it out to be like, no, we're gonna support her. She's making a very valid point about respect in the workplace and
Right.
being informed of.
So I
anytime
read.
you work somewhere and they make changes, and you're like, do we get any say in these fucking changes?
So I read today that he's now bowing out early. He's like done the 15th of May.
So he's not staying till September.
Right.
As was,
He's
so,
out.
So this could be part of her deal too, of like,
Get him out now.
yeah, just.
I hate the fucker. We're gonna bring in Anderson Cooper and whoever else she wants to tout as a
And
co-host.
I don't think they hate each other. I just don't think that with their busy life, because he does NFL
Right, on
this
Fox.
week, but that's in LA. So he flies to LA every Sunday
I
and does a
realize
show in LA every Sunday. Comes back and does GMA and her show.
I would be willing to be a co-host with him, or just to fly with him.
I would just sit under the table and do my
He-
business.
yes,
And-
that's
and
what I'm
help
trying to
prevent
get to.
prostate cancer.
When he made the comment, when they were making
Probably
the
mine too. Let's
when
not lie.
the new iPhone came out a while back, and she was trying to figure out sizes of phones, and he put the tape measure up and said, "Just go 10 inches and shut up." I'm like, we are on board
Yeah.
with him.
We're gonna slow clap.
I would have
that.
figured out how to get it. I would stalk Michael Strahan. Of course we could.
We can get him.
Oh, we can get him.
So Amy Schumer back on Comedy Central. The Girls of Broad City did their season finale on Wednesday. Just inappropriate and wrong, and they came up with period pants to get you through the TSA screening faster. Just hysterical that Alana wears period-stained jeans with a sweater wrapped around her waist, and it's fake. But that way, when the drug dog smells the pot in her crotch,
Right.
she shows the period stain that she's hiding, and the cop's like, "Oh, no, you're
Never
good,
mind.
you're good,
Never
move on,
mind.
move
We're
on."
good. We're good.
Just it's just the worst. It's so funny. But anyways, Amy Schumer was back getting her having the white men, all the men, not the white men, but all the men of the Congressional Women's Health Congress there for her pap smear. And she's like, "Is there no women on this thing?" I'm like,
haven't seen it
all
yet.
I wanted was a pap smear. And then the yogurt that makes your pussy taste better. I mean, there was just every single thing just out of the park. She was
Show your beaver. Show your beaver, Marnie. Show your beaver.
Show
There you
your
go.
beavers.
Beaver.
Exactly.
Damn it. Put up the beaver.
Well, permitted. It's the beaver shot.
Hold up the beaver.
It's the beaver shot.
Oh my god.
Beaver
So
right on the computer.
just could not be
I dropped the beaver.
I dropped the beaver. Could
Wait.
not be any funnier.
Just for fun, I'll put this back up for just a second.
beaver.
Nice beaver. All right.
So
Continue on. Continue on.
just hysterical. So it's back. I think it must be on Wednesday nights. I don't know. Sometime during the I worked too much and I was also sick. It taped and I watched it last night. And I have to tell you, I was kicking my feet giggling on the couch. Like, I seriously was doing the Rosie O'Donnell with Martin Short as a guest, where I just lost all control and just started. You got to see the episode of Rosie O'Donnell. It's one of the first couple episodes. Martin Beaver, not Martin.
That's good.
All right, I have
that's
one
good.
sip of the Sue Ellen drink,
Like
and
another.
I lose my
Do
mind.
another.
Let's have another one.
You are now. It's Martin Beaver.
So Martin Short big teeth. He gets Rosie O'Donnell laughing so hard that she's like just kicking her feet and squealing. And finally he tells her, like, don't you have to cut to a commercial or something? Isn't there anyone?
Nope.
But everyone on the set is laughing and they lose control of the show.
Nobody can do anything.
And it's back when it was the
That's
first
right.
season when it was live to be
Okay,
more
right,
organic.
right.
And they completely lost a sponsor that day
Martin
because
Short on Rosie.
and I think it's like show number 2 or 3 and she
Oh,
just
that's
loses
funny.
it. And
I'm gonna look that up
That
tomorrow.
fucker's
I-
funny.
Oh my
hopefully they
god,
have saved that.
That is so fucking funny.
So then NBC's
That's very
musical for next year.
Oh yes,
Their live musical is Hairspray, which I think is just a great choice. But now they've signed up Harvey Fierstein
Yay!
after a huge public
Yeah.
support Facebook
That's
campaign.
lovely.
Yeah.
Is going to be reprising Edna and
She's
Jennifer
so
Hudson.
lovely. I love her as that. She's fantastic.
And I saw him on Broadway, and
Oh, you did?
he was spectacular.
Oh, wow.
Very
Spectacular.
nice. Very nice. So, for those of you who aren't paying attention, the John Travolta role in drag will be played by Harvey Fierstein.
Yep. Who I think wrote the book to that musical? No.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he
couldn't-
did.
Marty Beaver.
Marty Beaver. There
Yeah,
he is.
I'm with Jenny on that. Beaver has
Marty
a new
Beaver.
name. Marty Beaver.
Beaver has a new name, and it's Marty.
Marty
But
Beaver.
and Jennifer Hudson will be playing the
Beaver
role
has a first name?
of Motormouth Maybelle.
Oh, who was done by Queen Latifah in the movie?
Latifah. So she's a little young to have a teenage son, but I guess okay, we're gonna go with it.
Who's going to play that teenage son? Because
Well, that
I am
is-
not mad at the gentleman who played it in the movie. What's his
Oh.
name? You know it. You know it.
Zac Efron?
No.
No, I
don't know.
The hot black guy who played Motormouth's son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I know.
See, I can't remember who.
Damn
played,
it.
I can't remember who played.
Because he's been in other things.
Yes, he is.
I am not.
He was
mad
in
at him.
He was in Dreamgirls too. I forget his name.
He's a beautiful boy.
Oh, see, and I thought the Fox musical of Grease was horrible.
I agree with that.
But they
I thought it was different.
but they mixed around. I mean,
I like the word different.
Different.
But
It
they're-
wasn't what I expected.
they were in a tough spot
Yeah.
because they certainly didn't
can't
do
I gotta
Grease
figure
the
this out.
musical. They did Grease the movie. So
Right.
you're in a tough spot when you completely disregard the original score of Grease and
right.
go with a movie. Like
I have a
you
new
did a
song.
live version of a movie. You certainly did not do the musical.
I have a new song.
What's that?
My beaver has a first name. It's
M-A-R-T-Y.
M-A-R-T-Y.
I'm gonna go with it. Sure. I think that's
rule.
Prince Philip, casual racist. We covered that. I think that's it for entertainment, and I didn't have much. We talked about Orphan Black being back, and I watched a couple episodes of Kimmy Schmidt, and it's that same rapid fire, like just sit still.
What about Veep?
Oh, sweet Jesus, that's what I meant
Sorry,
to talk about.
Aaron. Sorry, Aaron. Uh-oh.
No, Peter Pan was terrible. There's no getting around that. But we've already talked about this, Aaron. Like the movie of The Sound of Music is fantastic. The musical has a lot of problems, and they're doing the musical. So,
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
yeah. But again, we've talked about that. Like The Sound of Music, they did
Right.
the original musical,
Right.
and that's not the movie. So it has its distractors.
Sure.
Detractors.
Detractors.
Yeah, we've already covered all this. But Peter Pan was terrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Grease was bad for its own reasons. Plus, they gave What's Her Butt her own song, and it was awful. But we're getting people back to. Hopefully, we're getting people to see the original
Right.
score
I'm trying to think of
as
the name.
Neil and his buddy that I always tell you to see things. They're trying to get you to see the original scores of the things, not the movie versions, but
Right.
get you back. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But Peter Pan did not work at all.
Veep.
That was out. Veep, sweet baby Jesus. And if all you're looking for is a way to insult people, just watch Veep.
Yeah.
Because something will come up that you can use to insult someone.
There you go, Aaron. Sorry about that, honey.
Oh, I just can't help you. And that's another one where I just giggle
I
and
forgot
roll
that
about.
Harrison is a big fan.
But just did the founding fathers never hear of an odd fucking number? Like it's
Oh my God.
so good, and they're all
Who
back
was it with the report?
with the what?
What?
And the
Somebody
one
mispronounced something. They misspelled it, and I went to replay it. I was laughing too hard.
Oh, I haven't-
And I'll have to find it because basically somebody says something wrong, and the guy goes, "What are you, retarded?"
Retarded?
Because he replaced the word. Oh my god, it was fucking
But
hysterical.
the other funny thing was Sue,
Oh my
who
god.
never leaves the desk. She
Yeah.
stands up like
Well-
twice an episode, but she's done 20,000 steps in her Fitbit and walked up 22 flights of stairs, and she's sitting the entire time. The other guy is like running around the building, up and down stairs,
Yep.
sweating buckets.
Oh, very funny.
So
It's
it's
not-
back, and we've
I'll
lost
have to
our
find
original.
that
We've
too.
lost the original guy, the guy that created it and did all the things, and they came back.
Elijah Kelly. That's what I'm talking about. That's
Jesus
the one.
Christ.
I've just been googling forever. That's who I'm looking for. Who
Like
played?
this.
Who played
Seaweed.
Right. Who played Seaweed? Who was Scarecrow in
Yes,
the
in the Wiz.
Not Mad. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm behind times, but I wanted to bring this to the forefront because I finally found it. Fuck you all.
I think it's good.
I think
it's good.
because I'm not mad at him at
glad
all.
you did.
No, the Wiz was the. I thought the best. I thought the
Yeah, I
the
thought
Wiz
that
was the
was
best
really
one.
good.
I thought the Wiz was the best one they had.
Yeah.
With one, and again, one new song, but I thought that song was good. Except for they were gleefully singing about killing someone. We're gonna do it. We're gonna kill that bitch.
We've done it here.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Palin. We've talked about that before too.
No.
So that's
seriously.
entertainment. Now, somebody said from last week they had a question.
If you have a question from last week, we'd like to try to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was a Nant that said, but Mina's not in the room. It might have been from her.
Somebody.
And I only remember it because we didn't, Clayton didn't erase last week's, and nobody's talked about Tarjay.
Yeah.
We haven't. Do we have time?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah, I think we do.
Who wants that one?
So Tarjay is saying that people. I can't really take this. I just have a family member who posted something, and I was passive aggressive with my fact that she spelled weather wrong.
Well, and I love that you were passive aggressive about that. The fact that people are upset at all and that they're boycotting Target.
700,000 people boycott Target.
700,000.
Yeah.
It's like a million woman march. Or the million man march. Whatever it was, the million something march.
Million Man March.
Was it the million man?
A conservative Christian activist group has gained more than 500,000 signatures, counting from people pledging to boycott Target over its transgender bathroom policy. The petition started by the American Family Association, and you know what it sounds like that. It's just going to be awful. Like, people for marriage or anything, or like Christian values are always going to be terrorists. On Wednesday, raises concerns that Target's inclusive stance on transgender rights encourages sexual predators and puts women and young girls in danger because a man can simply say he feels like a woman today and enter the women's west womb. The boycott
West
room.
Are you Elmer Fudding your way through
I Elmer
this?
Fudded my way through
Jesus
that.
Christ.
The boycott has more than 744,000 signatures as of Tuesday afternoon, marking it as one of AFA's most popular campaigns. So, and it's just going back and forth. And now, North Carolina, I guess there's a bill up that will repeal the previous bill.
I'm just a bill.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm always a bill.
Someone has proposed a bill that will repeal the one before because North Carolina's in a world of shit, and now the Major League Baseball (MLB) has said that the All-Star Game is off the table. They haven't given any details, but they've said we're not coming either. So now the Major League Baseball, who very rarely weighs in on these things that I've ever heard of, it's usually the NCAA because of Title IX. Is it Title IX that does with sports and equality in sports? Title 10 or Title 9?
I don't know.
As a lesbian and a woman, how are you not aware?
I do not know.
But I can't remember. So anyways, one of those goes with that it really goes against Title IX. So now South Carolina wants to weigh in, and South Carolina's like, we don't have any fucking businesses. We'll do it.
Okay.
I know I'll be a loss someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
So, but it really is a time. And now Target is the one that waded into the political waters a few years ago, completely unwittingly. They supported a candidate over like local taxes, not realizing that, and it was in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
It was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That the
They're
person
based out
was-
of there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
that the person that they were supporting had a really horrible anti-gay stance,
Right.
and so the gays started targeting started
Target.
boycotting Target, and Target was kind. I was telling him at lunch today. Target went through this whole phase of like, gays like us.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Like I think they thought they were like out of the gay radar, and when they found out, not only did the gays like going there, but they were really pissed off and offended that all of a sudden Target was like, we got to get a gay campaign.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Sell it.
That no
Sell
one
it.
ever said Target.
yeah,
You know,
we're like fancy Kmart. Like and they were completely taken off guard by it.
Yep.
But they corrected. They like did a course correction. They became very gay friendly, very inclusive. They've done a couple things now where they put up with these boycotts from other people. But it was a very strange thing to me to read that Target was like, we just had no idea we had gay fans. Like, we just assumed the gays were at like Macy's. Like, what the fuck are they doing here?
The funny thing to me with all this is I realized, and I'm sure other people have probably posted this, but like, if the people who are going to boycott Target because of this, I'm on board because that means I don't have to run into the people that go to Walmart.
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh my God, I can run into people I like.
Yeah,
Or the people that are voting, or the people that are voting. See, the other thing that I have a real issue with is that
Tell us, Marnie. Tell us. Sell it. Sell it.
I'm gonna work this out a little
Okay,
bit.
good.
When you have the idea of someone who is transgender or feeling comfortable in not feeling comfortable in their own skin, right? They are not going. I might be wrong. I might be 100% wrong on this, but I highly doubt anyone that is a male, born physically a male, but feeling as though she is a female.
Yeah.
Would be walking around in like a full beard. I might be wrong, but like a full beard and not dressing, feeling, because you're going with that, maybe feeling more feminine,
Yeah.
or dressing, if you will, more feminine. They're making this sound. I mean, there was a guy in a full beard that went into someone at Target that's, like the man's man kind of bullshit, and went up and said, I feel more comfortable in the women's room. Can I
Well, then go ahead,
in
lock
there?"
the door.
Yeah.
Go in, lock the
Go
door,
in, lock the
do your
door.
business.
Yeah.
Don't touch anybody.
Absolutely.
Don't peek under
Don't
walls.
peek under walls. Don't peek over walls.
Go pee.
Don't have a wide stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go pee, wash your hands, get up. Pee wherever you want to.
Right.
Close the door,
Close
lock
the
it.
door.
Right.
And
The only people that are doing anything out in the open are the people at urinals. Everybody else is behind a
Absolutely.
locked door. Like, unless you're in, like, my junior high, where for some reason they took down the doors of all the... Can you imagine?
That's
junior
because
high?
you were
What?
doing drugs.
All
Really?
So
Yeah.
in junior high, if you had to make poo-poo, you had to do it,
Oh.
like... Yeah.
I would have been a horrible
Like
student.
oh, no. I mean...
I have to leave every day.
We learned about the nurse's office. Like, I'm going to go to the nurse. Like,
Oh, that was horrible.
Who's going to sit there and do that outside of prison?
I could not do. I honest to God, in 7th grade, when I found out that there was a shower thing after PE, nope, we're done. We're done. That's when I started learning how to do spreadsheets and do bookwork for the coaches.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I didn't do PE. I'm like, no, for 6 years.
No.
I did.
I mean,
I
you
did
not being
all of the
comfortable
bookwork for the coaches because I'm like, I am not doing that.
Yeah.
But if you want to make your bookwork be right for the
Yeah.
superintendent, I'll do that.
I'll figure it out.
Well, I would, like, go through fully clothed through the shower because it was a horseshoe and just come out the other side. Like,
Oh, good
I went
point.
in.
I never thought of that.
But then my last year, because I had, like, failed gym so many times and not taken it, that I had to take girls volleyball because there was, like...
Oh my God,
because of
that's my new
Title IX,
favorite.
they could, I mean, I've told everybody this story a million times that I took
love
girls
that, though.
volleyball my
Yeah.
senior year.
I love that.
And
I
me
don't
and Gina
remember
just
that.
sat there and, like, talked about Cyndi Lauper while, like, the balls were, like...
she bought.
The only thing I know how to do in volleyball is serve because you can't not serve.
Right.
So the
you
rest of the
have
time I would just stand there and watch everything go while talking about,
Well, I could serve.
But you got to rotate out, so you only get to do that like every 5 times, and the rest of the time, me and Gina were just talking about albums and watching balls fly back.
Well, and when it
like a
comes
date.
to this, back to this kind of bathroom issue, the idea that this Lieutenant Dan, Texas Lieutenant
Dan.
Governor Dan Patrick claims that the policy poses a danger to wives and daughters, and is exactly how sexual predators get access to their victims. No, it's not. Go
Yeah.
to Family Christmas and look at who is having someone sit on their lap and who's grooming someone within
Right.
the neighborhood. Look at that.
Yeah.
Don't look at this. The idea of, can something happen in the bathrooms? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But is it going to happen because of this? Like all of a sudden there's going to
No.
be a huge presence? No. I completely I'm so offended by this whole thing that
it's just
anybody's
ridiculous. Just
fucking
go
worried
in and
about
lock
it.
the door.
Yes, like when I have never paid attention. Ever. If I have to go to
I'm
the
so
bathroom,
busy
I'm
trying
going
not
in
to make
go-
eye contact in that bathroom.
and
you
well-
would be in a clown suit, and
Right.
I would have no idea.
Well, and if there is someone physically, as a woman, who goes in because he feels and well, I don't know what the right word is right now.
So,
And feels like a man and is looking at it and saying, "This is how I consider myself." They're probably not going to go in. Maybe they will with the little funnel and go in and stand at a urinal. Are they really going to back their ass up to the urinal?
right.
Because at that point, that's what they would have to do.
But you
Am
could
I
be like
right?
me. I wait for the stalls. I don't want to.
I do too.
I agree.
I don't want to stand there and pee. In
I
front
am
of
so
people.
horribly pee shy. I can't do it. It's horrible.
But understand, that's what I'm saying though. No one's going to. That's not going to be.
Who's going to
happening.
monitor
Right.
that?
Right.
Right.
And then the other thing is if you really want people like,
And that's not going to
so
happen.
you want
I mean,
kids-
Large Marge is not going to come in and be like, "Look at you, stand up, look at you." Oh my
Right.
God!
But
They're
no,
gonna do it.
Chaz Bono. Chaz Bono
Yes.
goes into the women's room. You don't think that's going to bring down all of all the Christians in Target, like chasing her out? You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that looks like a man.
And it's going to
That's
play
the-
turn back time from Cher when she does
yeah,
it.
but that's the person that you're afraid of because
Right.
now you have to go ask. You look like a man. What are you doing in a woman's room?
You look like a
because of
man.
you people.
Right.
Right.
You made me use this bathroom.
Right.
I look and act like a man, but your
Right.
backwards ass laws are making me use this bathroom. Where now we're all uncomfortable because in your mind there's a man in your women's
Well,
room
think about if
where she should be he should be in the men's room in a stall with the door closed, like the rest of us that don't like to pee in front of other people. It's gross.
Considering our
Unless, like, I
our
super duper gotta
fourth
pee.
person, considering our
Go
fourth
pee.
member.
Oh, Kat, who talks about
with
this all the
Kat.
time. Yeah.
Kat talks about this all the time. So what will happen when Kat goes to Target and goes into the women's room?
Yeah.
And now because this has been,
But she said she gets harassed in bathrooms all the
she
time.
does,
All the time.
right?
Like,
But
they
Even
now
when she
that
follows her
this
sons
is-
in.
Yeah.
Yes. And now that this has been blown out of proportion and become the danger to wives and daughters and sexual predators
From who?
The
What goes
sexual
on?
predators.
What are people doing in these public restrooms that I'm not aware of?
If you are at a park, and I just have bathrooms. I'm with Aaron. Just have bathrooms. Like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
just, I don't know how
Close
you need
it,
to set
lock
that
it.
up. But you're right. But if we're at a park, right, you're at some park, I can see that being more of an issue. I don't mean to be an ass. I'm being...
Oh, right, like
Right?
like an outdoor place.
Absolutely. We're, in general, people should be paying closer attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't, I don't care if it's about bathrooms or not. You're talking at a carnival, at a fair, at a this. I mean, you have
Places where kids get taken.
places where kids get taken for
Right.
$200, Alex.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Right.
So then
Places
it's a
where you
bigger
shouldn't
issue.
let your child out of your sight for any length of time
Right.
because carny folk are carny folk. Sorry, carny
once
folk.
Once a carny,
Once a
always
carny, always a
there.
carny.
Always. So, but I'm beyond with this. The fact that this is even an issue and that, 750,000 people are signing things to say we're boycotting.
Right, until they
You're
find
a
out.
fucking moron who's voting for Donald Trump, and I'm with Harrison and everybody else. Go to Walmart.
Until you find out that what's coming into the women's room now is men.
Correct.
Because you just forced transitioned women who have become men
That's right.
into a woman's room. So now you're making yourself pee with men.
Man.
Yeah.
Right.
You're doing this to yourself. That was the person, and I had to block him because he was like, it doesn't mean I'm intolerant just because yes, it does.
Yes,
You
it
are
is.
being
Right.
intolerant because now when and I kept saying, like, look at Chaz Bono. That's going to be in the bathroom with your daughter. And now you're going to have questions because it looks like a man.
Not that's going to be in the bathroom as a bad thing, but I mean for
No,
real, like.
but that's what you just
for-
forced.
in your brain.
You just forced that
the
situation.
people boycotting, yes.
Right. You just forced Chaz Bono into a women's restroom,
Correct.
and now you're all uncomfortable because now there is a man in your restroom. Someone who
Correct.
identifies as a man is now there
Correct. And
doing the
has-
shame spiral. But if it comes to blaming the victim and shame and
Right.
slut shaming, who better than
And what are you
Republicans and
going to do?
Christians? Like,
Oh,
who's better at it?
Absolutely.
Who's better at it? Sarah
And what are
Palin
you
could
gonna
lead
do?
this
Are
charge.
You are you going to flash do you have to flash the badge?
Yeah, exactly. Flash the veg. Yeah.
Flash the veg in order to go in. To
So, right. So Chaz Bono with her beard, his beard,
Mm-hmm.
has to like open up the pants and show like where he's at in his, which is no one's
Transition.
business.
It's his transition,
Exactly.
right?
Especially since that surgery is like not appropriate mostly.
Right.
Ugh.
It's a,
We're going to jump from this topic to our final topic because it's after 10 o'clock, after our third hour. And it goes something like this.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
There we go. God damn it. Piece of shit.
This show is brought to you by Cold Medicine. And Zyrtec. Flash in the Marty. That's funny.
Flash in the Marty.
Flash in the Marty. All right, so Anant asked a very, really important question, I think. And it goes along with so much that we talk about, but oh my God! Excuse me.
What the hell was that?
Burping like a man. So, what is it about mental illness? And Anant's asking from India, so this is obviously not just in our country, but what is it about mental illness that people don't go and seek treatment? Like, what keeps them from seeking treatment, and what makes people like judge those with those disorders? Do you think?
Can we define what is mental illness?
Anything. I mean, it really. If you think about how many things you should be going to get help from.
yeah, seriously.
Like,
And Ryer, you especially in this cast of idiots as becomes the show. You have a lot of. I think that you have a lot more experience than anybody with this because of who you deal with every day in your day-to-day life cycle.
Well, people have there's obviously such a my first response I was trying to type it, but again I need to take a typing class. I think that a lot of times when Anant says why aren't disorders not treated as any other physical ailment, that typically a physical ailment you can see. Right. I mean, it's
you limp, or you have a bad eye, or you have a twitch,
bad back, or you can see somebody's pain in that way.
Valid point. But
when it comes to depression, or when it comes to
depression's
anxiety,
the big one.
It is.
You cannot see that at all.
Yeah.
You can't see it, and how often we try to hide it. So there's a commercial on now for some medication that will either help you or make you commit suicide. You know how they
or
do
shit
that?
yourself. One of the
Something,
two.
Yeah,
right.
Side effects.
Lots of
there's
leakage.
Anal
the one,
leakage.
like if you're having any thoughts, if you have ideations of suicide, please tell your doctor now. Tell your doctor before you start this pill.
Thank you.
That should have been a conversation you were having before you got the irritable bowel.
Right.
Your
But
suicidal ideation should have come up really early in the
That should have
conversation.
been a previous discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's a commercial where they have somebody's walking down the grocery aisle and coming at another person, and they hold up a smiley face sign.
Yes, I've seen that.
Right?
Yes, I've seen that.
And I think that's a really good representation that
You put on a face.
We put on a face.
And for this one, I think let's go with depression and stress.
Okay.
Sorry, Annette, but I'm going to take those two because
I think that's great.
I think those are the most common ones that people
And
just think
even
you can just
bipolar.
power through.
Even bipolar,
Yeah.
things like this, where people that have those many times, especially whether it's depression, bipolar, with a physical ailment, you're going to see somebody's pain, and that's where you're like, listen, suck it up. If you're not going to fucking do something for yourself, you're right. I mean, like if you know that somebody is hurting, and they don't seek help for it, stop bitching. As far as I'm concerned, like try to get some kind of help.
You can only be on the cross so long.
Right.
But there's
put heat on it, put cold on it. I mean, something like
there's
that.
there's
Go
a
to
difference between the
therapy.
people that are like.
If you can afford it.
Right. We'll figure it out a way. Well, you need
And Anant's question is, why don't people do that?
No. But when it comes to when it comes to emotional or mental disorders, when it comes to depression or bipolar or stress kind of stuff, anxiety, people stop taking their medications because they feel better.
Right.
And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden there's the spiral. And getting back.
Which
what
is
about
ugly.
people?
Gets
What about
very
the people
ugly.
that are
Ugly.
like not the people that are like living the out loud mental illness that go get help because
Right.
they be crazy. But the people that are like with depression and stress, like you don't know that they're going through that. Like they're able to fake it enough, but you don't know that they go home to
Because there's such a
I think that's what Annette's talking about. I mean, there are those people that they do put the smile on, and you don't know. They're like, well, they seemed happy, and then you're like, oh God, I didn't
what
know
happened?
that. Yeah,
But I think that's where there's such, and for whatever reason, forgive me, I don't have my words tonight. Like there's just such
stigma,
a
yeah.
stigma, thank you, that's attached to those things, and it's become better.
it'll be cheer up.
Right, or pull yourself up by your bootstraps,
bootstraps,
or bully. Oh, okay. The idea that I have a couple of friends that have been diagnosed with bipolar, and I mean they're very open about it. And when you see them stop taking their medication or drink too much with the medication that they're on,
Changes
you
everything.
You
Right.
watch just the world kind of change, and especially the stop taking medication. Because they feel better, but there's such a stigma that's attached. People don't like to admit because people fear what they don't know or what they don't understand.
Sure.
And I think now that people are more open to it. When we hear bipolar, when we hear depression, when we hear anxiety, we don't get as standoffish as back in the day. Right? When that was something that one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
A long time ago, but you're right.
A long time ago.
Right.
But what Aaron is saying, those medications, the gaining weight, the losing sex drive, big deal.
I've just accepted my life now with epilepsy meds and no sex drive. Like,
well, and the thing is how, and I don't know, I'm just going to throw it out there, but how much sex are you having if you're clinically
seizing
depressed?
constantly, or if you're seizing constantly.
Constantly.
It looks like I'm orgasming, but really I'm seizing.
Right. I mean, I have a hell of a
I
sex
may look
drive.
like I'm having a good time, but no.
I'm thin, I look good, I have a great sex drive, but it's difficult for me to be around anyone or for anyone to want to be around me. So it really is a catch-22. But in response to what Ananta's saying, I think people have just made it. And even when we say things, sometimes we don't think about it. You know, the crazy train or the this or that. And we don't think about how...
Like we should be driving Sarah Palin to a doctor.
Right.
And trying to get help for that.
I would just like to drop her off somewhere, but maybe that's inhumane.
Right. Just want to put her on the tracks.
I just want to drop her off somewhere.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
on the tracks.
There's that.
Yeah, tire tone.
But I mean, it
that's
really is, and there's that, and we've all done it to people that just say, "Oh, you'll feel better. Just cheer up."
Right.
Oh, just do this. Have a drink.
Buck it up. Come on.
Yeah, Ariel tells me, "Oh, just have a drink. Just do this. Do this," and you're not like, "Well, you maybe go and talk to somebody."
Right.
And
and find it. It's like with anything, you have to find the right. There are people that will go through AA. There are people that will go to therapists. There are people that will go to any kind of group, and you have to find the right one.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, well, look, I'm at an AA meeting.
Doesn't work for me.
And we're all alcoholics, supposedly, so everybody will get along.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen that
No,
way.
not at all. So that's the kind of thing that when, with Anant talking to a therapist or anyone talking to a therapist, you have to go. My mom, oh my God, one of the funniest things when my mom and dad were going through their divorce, they went to see this therapist, and they would go together, and then they'd have their own time. Whoops, they each have their own time with this therapist, and the therapist fell asleep when mom was talking to him, and all of a sudden my mom said, rather than just get up, rather than just be like, wake up, or, whatever, that she was trying to get more animated with her voice, I was laughing so hard when I heard her telling the story. Like, here she is, like, what, fucking dancing to get the therapist? But get out of there. That's not a good therapist.
Right.
They suck. They suck. They're horrible. So find something, and I say that to anyone that's listening. I mean, find somebody that matches for you.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's a therapist or a doctor or a chiropractor, like, it doesn't matter. You have to find
the one that
works for you.
Copacetic or whatever the word is.
Right.
And now one of the things that
where
I
you
will
feel comfortable and
yeah.
safe.
Well, I will recommend from a couple different rounds of therapy. After the car accident, I had really bad PTSD and really did not ever want to be in an automobile again.
Yeah.
And through my insurance, one of the good things about my shitty insurance was that it offered counseling.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they recommended, and I thought it was really strange at first, but they're like, go to group therapy first and then work your way down. And it was something I had thought of before and had done, like, when I got my DUI 7,000 years ago. You had to go to, like, I'm not a serial killer class.
Right.
But you went to group therapy and you're like, oh, this helps. Like, I may not need one-on-one therapy right now. Like, hearing everybody's stories and putting it in perspective, I was able to process it that way.
Yeah.
But the one thing about that experience is the stress of this from your job? Like, would a group of people in your field, is the stress related? Sure. Like, is this car accident just something else on your plate that you can't handle when really it's the stress of your real life? Maybe sit down in a group about stress, about work-life balance. Sit down with that group and see if that rings some bells and you just had a car accident too. Or do you need to go see somebody because you seriously don't ever want to be in a car again? And it turned out it was a combination of both. So a little bit of group talk and a little bit of work-related stress and anxiety combined with, now I have anxiety in a car and, like, go see somebody but so you have to mix and match and find out what piece works for you. And sometimes you just have to admit, like, I'm not handling this well.
Right.
Like,
and maybe you never will.
Right.
Exactly. And that's also true too. Sometimes you just have to admit, like, sometimes I'm just depressed. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes, but sometimes I just need to, like, crawl into a hole and, like, figure it out myself and then emerge when I'm ready. But
I know from
I'm using the general we's and I's here because and
I know from being around you and driving multiple places with you, you self-admit you're not the best driver in the world.
No,
you admit that. But I also know, based on what happened in the accident in Colorado, you don't like not being in control.
No, an idea.
So if there's a chance of Al's not going to drive, but who's going to drive, and, like, there are issues with that.
Right. And, like, what do I have to stare at to get through this ride with somebody else driving?
And I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Because I thought the other night when we went to the movie, because I had not drank all day, I'm like, well, maybe I should just drive to make this easier, because we're going to go all the way to Tempe. We're 20 miles ish from where we are. We're going to go to some place that maybe we're kind of both unfamiliar with. Maybe I should just drive. But you drove, and we did wonderfully. We made it there. But I think about that when I go with you anywhere, because I think to myself, this is an anxiety for him, because maybe we don't know where we're going. He's not in control. He's in a car that's unfamiliar. Because I understand, I get that, and I honestly do. I wonder about that with you.
Yeah, and
you are a shitty driver.
Hand to God, because I like to play music and I like to play DJ while I drive.
She likes to play Donna Summer and whatever, Sly and the Family Stone, and boom.
And so if you have a friend, and even if you suspect it, just talk to people. I mean, one of the best things you can do for somebody is just talk to them, get out, you know what I mean, and find out, like, is there something underlying? And that's the thing about making friends, that you can be like, I'm having a shitty fucking day.
Right.
And having that friend, or you being the kind of friend that someone can say, like, this is not working. And I always recommend, like, go for a walk, go run some errands, do things where, like, your mind is occupied by something else.
You know, that's
and then there's those people that have no one.
Well, there are the people that have no one. There, you know, Aaron, my Aaron has spoken openly with the depression stuff as well. And that's why I say, just sitting with someone or helping them build their fort. That's what she calls it. She just crawls into this fort. And she does not want to leave the house.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do anything. And normally, we have to be really cognizant of, do people want us around?
Yeah.
I mean, because
And that's totally fair.
you bet.
Yeah.
But we have to, and then
Because
be careful
there
of isolation. You know,
Yeah.
right? Balancing
Because
that.
when you're that person, when you're in public, you don't realize, am I overdoing it with people in public? And they're like, I don't really want to hang around with you anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
But I agree with it. You have
Yeah.
to you have to be cognizant of that and realize some people don't want to be around me when I'm overly sensitive about
Right.
things. So I just want to stay at home or be out of the public eye. That's a
Absolutely.
very fair assumption.
Well, and the idea that you obviously have to make sure.
I haven't figured that out, but I
No.
mean, a lot of
Right.
people have.
Right.
And very
And
few
but
have.
you
No, I
have
mean,
to make-
I am the same way.
Right. You have to make sure that someone isn't isolating too much because that's dangerous.
That's dangerous too,
so
very
dangerous.
much.
But to be able to sit there, because I'm not one to like to sit there in silence. Silence always meant fighting in my house growing up.
Oh, right.
And so if things are quiet,
Oh, what's
I'm like,
brewing?
That's
what's
right. No,
happening?
that's fair.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Oh,
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a what fresh hell is this?
Right,
Like what's coming?
going on?
Yeah.
But I've learned so much from Erin and being with her of just being able to, you know, when she's like, she gives off the signs and signals, and we have grown to understand each other with that. But even initially, I would go over there not to impose, but just to sit.
Yeah.
And then we'll just watch TV, and I'll watch The Real Housewives or whatever, and sit
and you
there.
wait for them to find their moment to talk. And that's why I would say, like, go for a walk, go for a little hike, and you'll just get things out of people. Like, you'll just process thoughts when your mind's busy with something else. Like,
Well, then you get them in a comfortable zone where they are free to tell you or to say something, or
To feel safe.
regardless if they say something or not. Whatever they say something.
yeah.
Right.
They drop hints in conversation where they make a comment about something like, oh, okay,
got
so
it.
they have a problem with white flowers,
Well, and then
or
not
whatever the fuck
right,
it is.
and then
Right.
not turning around and trying to solve it for him.
No, right, but you figure out
It's a
a way
huge deal for
in
me.
of empathy. You're like, oh, they just made a comment about something that I never thought they would care about,
Right.
and then you realize that and you just find a way in.
And
Yeah.
it's difficult for me, and this was something that I very much had to learn. And Anant, I don't know if I'm going off too much on this. I apologize, but I'm going to. But the difficult part for me as a social worker, and we've seen this with another friend, is that you're trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Right? You hear something, and rather than just, that's why I said listening is the key when Jenny had mentioned it,
definitely.
as far as listening, because I have always, now I need to solve it. And we can solve this because I don't, and I,
You can't
for me,
always do that.
For me,
Oh,
I
but,
truly,
but in my heart, I think I
truly-
can.
yeah.
Oh, no,
And my
I
mou-
agree.
Oh,
I
and my
agree.
mouth, and my mouth thinks I can too.
Yeah, but I truly, I thank God the idea that I don't understand depression. I'm so thankful for that. At the same time, it's not a matter of thinking, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or
Yeah.
do this or this. But in my thinking, let's just go out and go for a walk. Come out for the drink, right? Or let's go see the movie.
It doesn't always
all
work
of
that
those
way.
things, and it doesn't, because in my head I'm like, or just let's chat.
Yeah. But
Let's
at the
do
other
whatever-
hand, you do break some isolation.
Sure.
It does get somebody out and about, and it's a step.
Or
And
if you're in Canada, out in a boot.
in a boot.
boot,
But
right.
and you might not
Hello,
always
Philip.
you
Shout out
they
to
may not
Canada.
always like tell you what's wrong. But
Right.
at least you gotta give it a shot.
Right.
But that's just the people that are obviously, because there's people that are like suffering from depression that fake it so well that you don't know that
You're
underneath.
right.
Right.
You're right.
You never know until it's too late.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
or until they
Absolutely.
like stay alive but implode, and you're like, oh sweet Jesus, I didn't see
What
that
the
coming.
Fuck happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Aaron, I will agree with you on that.
Yeah,
Depression
it's
is
true.
tiring.
It is.
I agree with you. It's exhausting.
And see,
My
I'm not-
Aaron says it too. Exhausting. Yeah.
See, in mine,
Yeah.
then mine, if I feel down or blue, I'm wide awake. Like mine manifests in insomnia.
Because you overthink. Or
yeah.
You just,
oh yeah. I mean, but I have the
hamster on the wheel.
Yeah, the hamster on the
Yeah.
wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
In spite,
My
now-
hamster is fit as hell.
I wish I could be as thin as my
I
hamster.
know, right?
my
my
God.
fucker's running and
my
running and
hamster's
running.
Fitbit's done like 50 flights of stairs.
Yeah, it's what's her face from Veep.
Yeah. Sue.
Sue.
I don't know
My
how many more
hamster's
ways to
name
say
is
no
Sue.
when she hangs up on the guys. She's so fucking funny.
That's a
But
great
Anant,
question.
I mean, seriously,
Anant.
Anant, you just have to man up and get help. Like, ask someone for help.
Yep. And if that's us, God be with you. But
Yeah.
And if it is
here.
us, I would suggest another therapist.
Yeah.
If
But
that
we're
is
right
us.
Here. We're right here. at
And
least once a
always
week.
keep trying. Like
Yeah.
God knows that I'm 4 or 5 therapists later, and she still ain't done.
Every Tuesday we're here. Everybody in the chat room, Harrison, Jenny, Joe, Mama Di, Missy Al, it's you, everybody who's in the chat room. Tomo!
Jenny.
Thank you very much,
Meowco,
boys and girls.
Jody.
Guess what? We're going to inflict this upon you next Tuesday. We'll be here again. Thank you for joining us. It's Morning Wire Al Perkins. I'm Clayton McKee. It's the Q Talk America show. Thank you. We will leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next
You are
Tuesday.
listening
talk about
to
stress.
The show on Q Talk America.